You know, Woolie, not long after I started my channel, I developed what at the time seemed like this irrational fear because, you know, my channel was Super Eyepatch Wolf, and I had the thought that nothing can ever happen my eye because that would be too silly. And I specifically thought about it from the angle of, imagine clicking on a video from Super Eyepatch Wolf or even a regular Eyepatch Wolf, and you click into it, and the first thing you see is some fucking guy who's so committed to his stupid, shitty bit that they're wearing an eye patch.
Now, John, I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that the audience believes that you are above said bit? And I want you to be honest.
Absolutely not. And guilty as charged. Literally, the boy who cried wolf playing out in front of us all.
I just need to put some words to what it's like when I start the call up and I see a fucking eye patch on.
Yeah, So me and Woolie had a call last week, and Woolie's immediate response was like, "Okay, let's start the bit."
Where are we going? All right, what do we got? Like, let's go.
It's just convincing anyone that this is a legitimate problem.
High spot. We're doing a high spot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Going up, buddy. Look, what I will say is I am not above this one day even transforming into a bit. Okay. I'm not saying that at some point I might not pull up the eye patch and there's a Sharon Gannon under there. I am saying that's not where we're at right now.
Right now. Yes.
Right now, there are vision problems. Right now, there is strange things happening to my eyesight. I talked about this all over on regular Eyepatch Wolf and put that video out. And immediately, you know, people freaked out in exactly the way I was concerned they would. So, look, here's what I will say. The problem specifically with the eye is I have lost peripheral vision in my left eye. I don't know how gradual or not gradual it was, but it seemed to come on pretty soon. My eye gets very tired, and when it does, I have to wear an eye patch. I do not need to wear the eye patch all the time. I do need to wear it when lights are shining in my face, as they are right now. And finally, I just want to acknowledge to our audience, I understand how silly this is, okay? This is a ridiculous cosmic joke of an occurrence that I am learning to accept.
You need to understand that if there were at any point past versions of us looking into the future and they saw me holding a kid and you with an eye patch, they would be like, oh, fuck, that's the time skip. That's actually what happens.
Well, this new Infinity Collection sure is really some shit.
You're actually seeing the Shippuden, moment happen right before our eyes.
It's insane, and it's weird as well because, like, in most fictional media, it's like the eye patch is such a villainous thing, and here I am, hero versus wolves, and I'm the one with the eye patch, and it's bizarre.
It's really early into the episode. I can't we're anyways. What I said moving along before, and I'll say again is. Hey, why not take this opportunity to put some swag into the eye patch, right? We live in a world where Biken has a goggle with a nice cool design on it. You can take this chance to get a really cool eye patch design going and lean in, to a character design, even if this is temporary.
I guess so. I think I have some tests coming up, and those tests are going to determine exactly how much stock I put in fashionable eye patches, Woolie. So hey, look, guys, if you come on, if you see a future episode of Versus Wolves and I've got a sick ass eye patch and there's like an insignia of a wolf on the front, you can take it for granted that things are not going well.
Also, I would say that you can also expect that that accessory is sitting next to the computer and is not leaving the house when you go outside.
Oh,
you know?
I have tried to go outside once or twice with the eye patch, and not only do I feel like extremely self-conscious, I cannot fucking see where I'm going. And it's a problem because like the left eye is not working correctly, so I am like bumping into people outside, and I nearly feel like I nearly feel like stopping and be like, I can't see, I can't see out of my left, and it's taking some adjusting.
Well, again, of all the ailments that you could be afflicted with at the moment, you picked one that is absolute character story growth telling, you know, like this is something that you might as well lean into it while it's happening. So how about that?
I posted a little eye patch update over on regular Eyepatch Wolf, and let me tell you, those comments were completely and utterly brutal. Let me pick out some choice ones here.
Ooh. Let's what do we got on the community roast?
Okay. Okay. This one is in quotation marks. Guys, I know it sounds silly. I assure you it's not a bit, but I'm a wolf now. We're just going to have to move past it.
Just accept it.
This one's that was from Orbi Ninja. This one from Pain Causing Samurai. If it isn't our old friend normative determinism. But I think probably the king here, one of the most devastating YouTube comments I have ever received. So this is something I actually did say during the video, and so this is in quotation marks. If my brain was messed up, it would manifest in different ways. And this is from Biotic Emu. And then they just add, you are really into Shenmue.
Hey. Yeah. Special edition coming soon. I feel like if people had to like take bets, most people would have put their money on the fursuit showing up first before the eye patch. Like that would have been hard.
Can I talk
real
about
money
the
dollars?
Can I address the fursuit?
Please.
My life would be so much simpler if I was a furry. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because it would mean that I wouldn't have to keep explaining that I'm not. Right.
Also, I'd like you more because you'd be out here saving fighting games. But that's a tale for another time. Don't worry about it.
Tale for another time. Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. But yeah, look. Now more than ever, I'm Eyepatch Wolf.
And I'm Woolie Versus.
And we
boy, are we.
Versus Wolf!
Well, okay, so I wish that my next question was related to the lore you just described, but unfortunately I already know the eye patch is not related to this. How was your trip to Japan?
Oh, Woolie, my trip to Japan was kind of magical. It was strange in many different ways. But look, you've been Japan is a very easy country to fall in love with, right?
Yeah, it's great. And
It's just so good.
if you got the eye patch in Japan, I don't think anyone would believe you. I know I wouldn't. Like, there's no words you could say coming home and being like, no, you don't understand. It really was. And I'll be like, yeah, okay, what the fuck ever, man. You know? Yes, this was a nice little time. So you went for how long?
So we were there for 16 days, basically two weeks with like a day to travel on either end. The last time we went to Japan was like 14 years ago, and literally probably every year since there'd be a moment in the year where we'd be like, will we go this? We'll go this year. We'll totally.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You know how it goes. But like, Japan that's about 20 hours of travel to get to Japan from my front door. And that, especially, as like business responsibilities and different stuff keeps coming up, it's hard to find the time. But basically, I had a group of friends going over, and one of them was just like, why don't you and Michelle come to Japan? And I was like, well, we can't possibly do. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is probably the best opportunity we will have for a while. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go. And so we went over, and we went to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and back to Tokyo, which was an awesome trip.
Good coverage.
It was the kind of trip where, in retrospect, I think we probably did too much. That kind of way.
Yes. And if you're already, I know that if you're getting any thing like this in, this is a trip that is being Tetrised into your life's like busyness,
Big time.
And
big time.
So you want to make it as effective as possible. But I learned the hard way, having gone twice now, that you can't pack too many things into each day. You need to schedule rest days. Yes, you have to get your downtime. You'll hate the events you're doing if you don't.
Yeah, and like even then, like there was different parts I had to cut out of the trip. Like I was going to go to a New Japan show, wanted to go so badly, and it fell on a weird time. And then when they released the booking time, it just didn't kind of work out. I was really bummed out though, because there's a group in Stardom right now. Stardom's like the Joshi Women's Wrestling League, called Hate, and Hate is led by one Saya Kamatani, who we covered in the Best Collection. And I was 3 days late to witness the Hate Darkness Party. Don't know what it was. We'll never know now. And that made me sad. But that's okay.
Was it a dark match kind of setup?
I don't know. A bunch of evil wrestling women just doing their thing. I couldn't tell you, but I was so close to being there in person. But that said, though, like the trip was just like, I would say physically and even mentally kind of exhausting. But like, I don't know, spiritually, I feel like I came back from this trip like having a little better idea what I'm about. You know that kind of way?
Okay. Interesting.
And I think a part of it was just like getting to like see and experience like so many new things. And like it was a weird trip in just that I ended up interacting with a lot of like Japanese people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't have a lot of Japanese. I have maybe like 13 words, and I'd it was funny because like I'd say something to someone in Japanese and they'd be like, oh, do you speak Japanese? I had an instance where like, someone said hello and I said hello back, and then they're like, oh, your pronunciation is so good, you speak Japanese. I'd said konnichiwa to them, and I was like, no, konnichiwa 100%. And then they just like cracked up laughing, and it was like
literally the Simpsons bit. No, just that first sentence and this one explaining
it was literally that. Yeah. And but like it was really, really nice. They had all these like really wholesome experiences. I found this little coffee shop in Osaka.
Of course you did.
Yep. You know what, actually one discussion I have wanted to have on podcast with you for a while is the coffee shop discussion, because we have very different opinions on cafes and how to exist within them.
What are my opinions on cafes and how to exist within them?
So I told you a long time ago that one of my favorite things in the world to do is go to a cafe, take out a sketchbook, and just do a little drawing. Maybe you stick on a podcast or a YouTube video. And your immediate like response was kind of like, oh, so people can like see you do that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, and I have poked tremendous fun at Punch Mom over the and the thing is, the truth is that like, no, it can be something that is a vibe that is enjoyable, but I think about definitely like the cute kind of like corner store or cafe and taking the booth and posting up and having a moment so that you can think about yourself in third person in a postcard, having that moment, looking out the window, being pensive, you know, and you're like, are you in the moment or are you posting up for
Woolie,
the mind selfie?
This is the closest you have ever come of accusing someone of notions. Like, you're so close.
Because I'm like, I know that like it's enjoyable to, you know, like have a cool spot that has all that, etc. But like there's a thing about like the energy that you can, there's a way to approach that, I guess, where it can be not about the energy, but about being perceived even by yourself within that setting. Does it make any sense? It's like, it's not far.
Okay. So do you see this being like, what is that? What's your man from Scrubs called? Zac Efron? No, it's not Zach.
Zach Braff.
His film, what was that? Garden State. Is this the kind of thing where you envision someone like, you know, having watched Garden State on their DVD player in 2005 and like wiping a tear away after their 25th watching, and then heading down to the local coffee shop and just sitting there in their floral pattern shirt and just being like, like, is that the vibe?
Well, first of all, I'll have you know that after I watched Garden State, I went down to HMV and I bought the soundtrack, so I didn't go to the coffee shop, mind you.
Okay.
But the analogy I would go with is like, if you are super sick at playing the guitar and you're practicing and you're good and you've got like the extra like flair to it and everything, that is awesome. That's a talent that takes a lot of work. If you're the guy that's playing the guitar in the atrium of college, specifically under the tree next to where everyone's walking by so that you can look like the mysterious, you know, troubadour, and you start slapping that guitar and getting into the John Mayerisms so that, you know, maybe someone cute might take notice. There's a camera that you're posting that's floating in your head of you in the scene doing that moment, right? It's not about the actual guitar in that moment. It's about someone catching you.
How that could theoretically link to someone sitting in a cafe and drawing, but the cafe drawing to me is about just removing yourself from all the bullshit you have to do at home. Nice spot, nice cup of coffee, just getting real chill. I don't want anyone to talk to me when I'm doing that. And I have had multiple very strange interactions with people as that happened. And no, I was going to say, and I understand that. And I don't want like to be like, oh, like I can't ever get into the moment or into the mood, because I definitely do. But I know that, you know, especially as you're someone who wakes up and has like the same regular routine for your morning to be right, you know, and I've described this to like little V, for example, but I don't like drinking coffee that much because I want the energy to get inside me faster so that I can get to the tasks I need to do. So like the slowness of the hot sipping is like, that's too slow. I want let's go, you know? And okay, so you're Italian style. When I was in Italy and I was hanging out with my HoloPress buddies, they were constantly like pounding espressos, whereas I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll take a cappuccino, please. And they'd be like, it's the fucking morning. Why are you drinking a cappuccino?
Yeah. No, anyway, I'm trying to get my day started. Yeah.
We have gone so far off topic here. This was not that kind of coffee trip. This was basically, we found this little coffee place in Osaka, and it was like 4:30 in the afternoon. And we go in and we're like, we have somewhere to be. And so we just want to grab like a little bite to eat and go. Walk into this coffee shop, nearly completely empty, except for this little old Japanese man who's just like stooped over. Like this motherfucker was at like a right angle. You know that kind of person?
Mm-hmm.
Not a word of English in this entire restaurant or in this entire cafe. And we're kind of looking at it and I'm like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. And so I go over and like as best I can, I kind of try and like talk to him and I'm kind of like, oh, you know, I'm like pointing at things at his menu. But then he points to a little paper sign and it says, it takes me 25 minutes to make anything. I'm like,
damn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and like I'm kind of looking at this guy.
Slow down.
He does not want us here. Like he really seems like he doesn't want us here. But then anyway, we're like, okay, fuck, look, let's just grab a Americano and, you know, head on over. And so we sit down and this dude takes about maybe 18 minutes to make an Americano. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's fine. It's okay. And then I taste it. And God fucking damn it, Woolie. It's like one of the best coffees I've ever had.
Go.
And I'm like, okay,
yes.
this is pretty cool. He comes back over and he produces from his little leather apron 2 bananas and he places one beside me and one beside Michelle because he knows we're hungry. And we're like, oh. And so we both eat our bananas. And then when we finish our bananas, he brings us over a little toasted cheese and ham thing and just places it on the table. And we're like, oh. And then, like, you know, we get up to leave and I ask him for the price and he's like 1,000 yen, which is like
$10.
Maybe $5. Not even, like, nothing. And I kind of just point to his coffee and I go, Subarashi, which I think means like made with great skill.
Very,
and
very, elegant, very incredible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the look of like he's so great, and it was just like such a nice little experience, you know. And like there was so much of that, and sometimes I really, this is tricky, right? Because I feel like it can come across. There's a way that this comes across where it sounds like mean-spirited, and it's not. I think that there is something like magical that happens sometimes when you're talking to someone in not their native language and you hear the linguistical compromises they make to get across their meaning. And you just hear all these kind of phrases that like you've never heard before. Another place we went, I will drop some footage here because I took some footage. It was like this place near Akihabara, and it was this pancake place. And it served like legitimately just the best fucking pancakes I've ever eaten. These massive pillowy, like they're like that size and they like jiggle if you shake the plate. They were absolutely delicious. And like I was talking to the woman afterwards and I was telling her that, you know, me and Michelle are both like pancake enthusiasts and we really appreciate a good pancake. And she goes, oh, you are pancake freaks. And just like a lot of little delightful misunderstandings like that.
Yeah.
But there was one bit where you know, Woolie, how I travel after I spend a long time in a plane, I like to get a good rigorous massage to get all the knots out. And this is weird because I posted a video not long ago on regular Eyepatch Wolf about another very strange massage I had. That was not this one.
Not NYC.
Woolie, I can't remember if I've ever told that one publicly and still don't know about that.
How'd it go?
That's an intermission lounge.
How'd it go?
It was an unreal massage. It was great, but like she had enough English that like we were kind of like communicating with each other like back and forth, you know. But very occasionally she would like toss out a sentence where I couldn't quite like grasp what she was getting at, you know. And so there's about 5 minutes of silence, and then she kind of leans over. Then she leans over and she just goes, sometimes Japanese Mickey Mouse attacks me. And I kind of didn't really like know what way to take that. Like, was this a cry for help?
Doraemon?
I ended up talking to her for ages, and she was like super fucking cool. She was like a huge sumo
Tokyo
wrestler
Disney?
fan.
What is
I couldn't get it.
Oh
but
my God. Okay.
Her speciality is she massaged sumo wrestlers.
Wow. Let's go. Okay.
And so afterwards, she like took me around and she showed me all these frames they have. When sumo wrestlers do an autograph, they literally get ink on their hand and like onto a piece of paper. And so she had all these different ones from like these massive sumo wrestlers, and it was fucking cool.
E Honda's win pose, you see,
that's
he
it.
palms
That's it.
and tosses the things up in the air, and you see the palm signature. Yeah.
And this was interesting to me, Woolie, because on a previous stream, the subject of sumo wrestling came up, and I said how I thought that, there was maybe a small chance I could take down a sumo wrestler.
A Rikishi, certainly.
Yeah, I've done my fair share of grappling.
Not a Yokozuna or anything, but just
no. But I mean, a rank and filer.
Yeah, absolutely,
there's a shot. There's a shot, right?
That's what can they do? We're purifying the ring, are we? Pff, whatever.
How about you purify my steak? You know what I'm saying?
Watch this Kimura. Watch me pull guard. Now what?
Hey, let's see you deal with butterfly guard, motherfucker. So I might have said some stuff on stream.
Yeah.
I'm walking through the train station going to Osaka, and next thing the crowds part, and 3 of the largest men I have ever seen in my life walk past me.
Let's go.
Dude, when I tell you the aura on these motherfuckers, like, just incredible. And so I'm like, if somehow I end up in a battle with a sumo wrestler on this trip, I could be in some real trouble.
You're about to get doskoid. Let's go.
So anyway, look, there's a lot of fun things that kind of happened on the trip. It was really fun being there with my friends Dee, Louise, and Rebecca. We got to hang out with them, and there was like, bunch of really fun stuff.
Japan with friends is awesome. It's such an enhanced version of that. Yeah.
And one of the things we did, Woolie, is that we reached Shangri-La. There's a place for people like us, Woolie. There's a place for folk like me and you. And it's called the Muscle Girl Bar.
Tell me about it, please. Just tell me about it. Tell me about it slow.
So
give it to me at a medium pace.
I really did not know what to expect from the Muscle Girl Bar.
Did you not? Did you not? You didn't know. You didn't know what to expect from the Muscle Girl Bar, did you?
All I mean is there's like a gradient from Muscle Girl peacefully serving you drinks to wild ass muscle show. And I wasn't sure where on that spectrum this experience was going to last. I didn't know.
did you know where on that spectrum you wanted it to be?
Here's the thing, Woolie. No, I did not. No, I did not. And you know, I'm gonna say I was like a little nervous. So one of the really cool things I got to do was I got to meet my friend Connor, Sea Dog VA, who I have not seen for a long time. And me and Sea Dog spent a night going around Golden Guy. Are you familiar with Golden Guy?
No.
Golden Guy is this like entire neighborhood of Tokyo where it is filled with, I'm going to say, 200 tiny bars across like this kind of neighborhood area.
Yeah, okay, I've heard of this, yeah.
And the bars are like stacked on top of each other. And each one fits maybe 5 to 6 people max. Like, they are tiny. And we had like this fucking incredible night of just exploring Golden Guy and just like, you know, catching up with a dude who I appreciate so much and I've just known for forever at this point. And I guess, you know, sometimes you see a friend and you're always a bit like, you know, will we still appreciate, like, will we still enjoy hanging out with each other? And then you see them and within seconds it's like nothing has ever changed. It's like just those are the like friendships like just worth traveling for, you know. But at some point Connor is telling me like, do they know you're a YouTuber? And I was like, yes. And then he was like, okay, here's what they're gonna want to do, and you don't want to do it, okay? They are gonna want to sit you down, and then every single muscle girl in the bar will slap you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. And dude, it fucking hurts.
Yeah. I saw this because I saw Justin Wong going through it.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing, Woolie. Like, I have been boxing long enough at this point to know how much getting your shit rocked can mess up your day. You know, like I have had a few spars, in one particularly recently, where I was like dizzy and groggy and sore the rest of the day, and I just didn't want that. And a lot of people are like, "Are you gonna get slapped?" And it's like, I don't really super want to get slapped. That happens to me enough in my recreational activity that I don't particularly need it. And so I'm at the muscle girl bar, and immediately that's what they want to do, and I'm like, no, I'm okay, thank you, that's fine. But they basically, the way it works is you buy 10,000 muscle dollars, and from there, you pay the girls muscle currency to do different things, and immediately they are like firing drinks into me, and I can tell they are trying to get me shit-faced. Not in a like necessarily bad way, but they are very intent on this being a wild time. And hold on, let me just look them up real quick because I want to give them a shout out. I had 2 particular girls this night who were just like so cool and just really like, you know, kind of made the experience. Tomo and Waka. And Tomo was like this girl who on her neck she had like the Sakuna eyeball tattoo.
Yeah.
Just like so sick and so cool. And just like she spent like the night hanging out with kind of, or the evening hanging out with like me and my friends, which was good because like I was here with my wife and I would say 3 introverted lesbians, and there was a part of me where I was like, I hope this goes well. I hope this takes.
So this is kind of what I was gonna ask a bit, because I'm thinking about myself, and I have not been able to visit Shangri-La, right? But I know, as you've confirmed, that a place for people like us exists, and that makes me extraordinarily happy to know. And when I astral project myself into the situation, I foresee the energy of what it is, and me going, okay, but I can't actually just sit here and go goo like the whole time. So what will probably happen is some polite conversations about like workout regimens, and maybe just sort of like, wow, so how does the, and you kind of have to find a way to like make the experience somewhat normal while internally you're kind of like, oh my god, this is the greatest shit in the world.
So that's kind of where I was as well, because I didn't want to go and be like fucking Tex Avery wolfing all over the place, like I like, and like even that is part of it.
Gotta have some decorum.
But you see, I think the girls know that, and they're just trying to make it fun. So they're doing like their kind of big dance routines and stuff like that, and like there's all this kind of weird stuff like happening, and it's very like it's a very high energy evening. They're doing like dance numbers every couple of minutes, and like just doing like some really insanely impressive stuff on like a pole, and like just all this kind of stuff. Alarm bells are going off, and you're like firing drinks into yourself, and it's wild. Yeah, and so like there isn't even that much room to chat, It's Tomito da Matsumoto who is the main girl I was dealing with, and Tomito was so fucking cool, and just like I felt like she did so much as well to make the girls I was with feel like comfortable, and it was like that was really cool to see. And so like, the night's going on, and it's intense. It's like I'm like, oh sweet Jesus. And eventually, and like, you can get all these different things. Like, I'm not going in for too much. I'm giving the girls loads of muscle girl dollars because, that's what you do. But at some point, Tomito calls me up on stage, and I'm like, oh, and like, there's all these different things you can pay. If you're a woman, you can pay for the muscle girls to carry you, which was really funny because like across from us there was these two Japanese girls, and one of them seemed to be like having a pretty good time, and the other, it looked like her third eye was being opened. She was howling in delight whenever one of these like I was witnessing the beginning of a new character arc for this woman.
This must be a place of awakening for many, right? Someone enlightened comes along and brings others who do not yet know and discover the path. Yeah.
And so then anyway, she calls me up on stage, and like, I'm not like, I'm smallish. I'm pretty dense, Woolie. I'm not like a light person. And she's like, bend your knees. And I'm like, oh, why? And she's like, it's okay, just bend your knees. She reaches down, she fucking scoops me up into her arms, and then she just goes, my princess.
The Marissa.
Yep, I got Marissa'd, and that was interesting. But no,
I need a couple more adjefs.
I think at that point, both the alcohol and the experience melted my prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
And I kind of, got down off stage afterwards, and Michelle was like, "Did you have a good time, dear?" And it was cool. I'll get to see Oni there as well. Oni Dino, friend of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He was also there. And just like a super, super cool thing. Again, I'll throw the girls' instas up on them. I was a little taken aback when I posted this and my jiu-jitsu coach commented on it, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, hopefully just, a fellow man of culture and taste.
Oh, dude, some of the comments on this post was so fucking brutal. They know how scared you were of them was one, but I think the one that just like cut through me so much is like, wow, from these photos we can tell that John is the same height and build as a muscular Japanese woman.
So no, super Eyepatch Wolf.
Not from them. No. I was kind of going to Japan, and look, well, like, it's a positive thing. It's a nice thing. I always enjoy it. I will say the rate that I have gotten recognized in public has gone up a lot in the last 2 or 3 years.
It's about to go up quite a bit more.
God damn it! I know. Yep. So I was kind of going to Japan, and I was like, well, I think I might be able to like disappear into the Japanese society for a little bit. Before I hit fucking customs, I met someone, and it was like, okay, never mind, that's fine. And that
says the blonde white guy. Like, what are you talking about? On what planet do you like? Yeah. Okay.
But
that's cool.
on that subject, Woolie, I don't know how to approach this topic, so I'm just gonna go for it, okay?
Okay.
I'm like walking around Japan, and something's different. There's like something missing from how I usually feel. And I can't put my finger on it. And it's like, aside from the odd person who like knows who I am from YouTube, it's like something's not happening. And I don't know what it is. So we go to Osaka. And Osaka is a really cool place for a ton of different reasons, but one of the weird things is there's hosts out like trying to rustle up some business, which I'd never seen before. I'd seen it with mates. And Matt, hosts are like what ethereally beautiful young men. Like just that's insane.
Yeah, so Reno from the Turks is just standing on the street corner being
exactly
like, hey.
Every street corner. It's crazy. Yeah. And so I'm walking around Osaka and I still have this feeling like something, and it hits me. Oh my god. I'm not considered conventionally attractive in Japan.
True.
It's just, and look, Woolie, I'm not saying I'm like super hot, but I am used to a certain level of attention. Okay,
this is interesting. This is super interesting. And when that attention
disappears,
wow,
I don't like how it feels.
Wow, that's what it's like. Interesting. Okay.
Wait, that's what like.
No. The ghost energy that comes from, that thing where life just things just kind of happen, people they smile a little bit more. Things are just, there's been studies about this. Like,
are you implying that does not happen you?
I'm saying that I'm a pretty normal person, and I feel like, well, first of all, when I travel and go to places, if I go to a place like Japan, I'm like, hey, I am the most gaijin you can get here, like,
sure.
And I'm hoping that a little bit of my Japanese will be like, oh wow, hey, cool, you actually learned a word or two, and you can have a little conversation, and we can be like, yeah, because I've straight up been in an elevator with like literal laughing tee-hee-hee schoolgirls going, wow, right? But what you're describing and the absence thereof this is an interesting thing, because I don't know that folks with I don't know what if your jaw structure and your level of your.
This is bullshit. Are you suggesting?
I don't know.
Are you suggesting
to finish
this doesn't happen? You, Mr. Fucking approached in the streets for threesomes.
I have a particular audience that is.
Okay, so people know the famous threesome story about Woolie. What Woolie does not tell people is that happens literally all the time, right?
That's ridiculous.
Last Magfest, me and Woolie were walking down the street, right? And these two supermodels stop.
Okay, right.
Now, Woolie, let me tell a story. They stop and they're like, "Excuse me, would you be interested in a threesome?" And I turn around to them and go, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we're both taken." And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God, god, what the fuck are you? And then she just keeps talking to Woolie. Woolie politely explains that he's married. And then we walk another couple of steps. Exact fucking thing happens again. Exactly the same exchange.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, people know, someone sent me that video. Now 1 million people have seen that shit, by the way. So wow on that. All I'm saying is that I think that what you're describing is not something that attractive people usually, I think, acknowledge. So it's funny to know that it exists and to know what it's to experience what it's like when it's removed. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what it was? It was like an invisible drain of confidence. Like, I was walking around and kind of being like, something's not... I don't feel as good, you know?
That being said, right, again, you can be, I'm sure walking around Japan, some folks would have looked at you and thought you were American, right?
Probably.
You know, you're a handsome white guy. I think that, like, that is still something considered high value by a lot of folks. If we're getting into, okay, well, listen, we don't need to get into breaking our jaw structure with hammers.
I mean, if next time I head back to Japan, I don't see what fucking option I have, Woolie.
Okay, and we don't, right, and we don't need to get into.
I think, look, I think you say that, like, you have your audience, right? I think that's the case for anyone. I think mostly anyone is going to be attractive to someone, to some group of people, and all I can tell you is that my group of people was not the general Japanese public. Okay. And that was strange.
Okay.
I know I don't want to sound conceited saying this. It's just, I'm just being 100% honest.
It's interesting
about the experience.
That is interesting because I do know that, like, there are, like, I actually know people that were working and living there and stuff. And I know that there's a large amount of people that are actively interested in dating, like, a white dude from America, you know, that is attractive. Like, that's a type that is desired by, a decent amount of people. But for sure, you are also appealing to a certain group, and conventional is the load-bearing word here is, you don't look like what would, be considered the type of person, I guess, that the average your relative age group peer would be looking for. I understand. I get what you're getting at.
On the last day, I was getting a cup of coffee, and there was two, like, baristas there, and one of them did, like, a big spirally fucking, all the coffee in Japan is insane. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, Subarashi? That was my
that was your Subarashi was your go-to. Yeah. It's a little bit like of a villain word. It means splendid, but it'll do.
But she looks to the girl next to her and she just goes, kawaii. And I nearly felt like being like, thank you. I needed it. I needed it so badly. Well, yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah. That's funny. That is funny. And yeah, you know what? Look, Versus Wolves is a place where you can take chances, like bringing this type of thing up, and you don't have to feel like you'll be mercilessly teased for that.
No, I already know that the ridicule I have drawn on myself, both from you in the future and our audience, is going unrestrained. But sometimes I just need to voice the experience that life thrusts upon me. Okay.
Only one of us had a video that was the face reveal, which led to. Oh no, he's hot.
You love to bring up that video.
I mean, yeah.
Do you ever think maybe a reason this podcast does so well is because we cover like a large like demographic?
The Venn diagrams are going off in their direction. Certainly, I don't know, whatever the fuck that means, right?
Yeah. It is funny, Woolie. Okay, very occasionally. Very occasionally, we'll be doing an autograph signing or something like that, and a girl will come up to the table, and I can tell immediately, and it's like a specific kind of girl, but I can tell immediately she does not give a fuck that I am there. And look, I don't want to cast dissuasions about her motives, and it's not one girl, it's happened a couple of times, but it is like, okay, no, that's fair. That's
I will have you know, when it comes to the specifics of what you're describing, there have been many an occasion of just like there are Reggie seeking missiles that get launched. And
who could blame them?
And the ICBM is traveling.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
But anyway, traveling around. I just want to say, Osaka, incredible city. It's like Tokyo without rules. I was walking around Dotonbori and I was looking at all like the neon signage and all the crazy signs, and I felt genuinely like this is like the spiritual home of Versus Wolves. This is what the energy we cultivate.
Yeah, like, so you described that, like, the kind of trip where you come back feeling like, kind of spiritually fulfilled in a way. And for me, I don't get that from the times I've gone. But what I do get is a sense of like, this is a full-on reaffirmation that the shit I'm into is dope as fuck.
Absolutely.
And I'm seeing it in person, and I'm looking up at this Gundam being like, yes, this is cool.
Yes.
Whatever little
I
potential.
have not wasted my life.
No. I was right to think this is rad as fuck. Look at it. Yes. That's what I get. It's just a reaffirmation,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But then visited Kyoto as well, which I think is maybe the most beautiful city I've ever seen. Me and Michelle especially both like fell in love with that place. Had like the best flat white I have ever had in like a bicycle repair shop somehow.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just unbelievable coffee, and I was chatting to the owner afterwards, and he runs the bike shop, and his wife is like a master barista, and it was just incredible. Another morning, me and Michelle queued up an hour for a cup of coffee in this place called Bongen Coffee in Tokyo, and somehow absolutely worth it. Oh, I got to do something, and it's easily the coolest I have ever felt, Woolie. Me and Michelle walked into an arcade, and I looked around at the claw machine, and I was like, which one do you want? And she goes, that one. First coin in, got it straight away, didn't react at all, looked around and just said, which else?
Wow. Okay.
And then
calling your shots.
And then proceeded to eat shit for maybe an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, all right. Did you get the pity system? The IRL pity system, where eventually
that did not activate this time.
Okay, because like with gacha pity in real life, if you keep trying, eventually an employee walks over and goes, "Okay, which one?" And you can just point to it, and they'll open it up and be like, "Here you go. You've bought it and then some." So
yeah,
those are.
But so we're in Osaka, and I see there's a sumo event on. And I'm thinking, oh shit, this looks fucking rad. It's on the Sumo Hall in Osaka, and it's like this little kind of a mix between like a historical stage play and like a sumo exhibition where a bunch of sumo come out, they take you through the history of sumo, and I'm reading about it, and there is a raffle in which they will pick people from the audience to come up on stage and compete in a sumo wrestling match with a sumo wrestler.
Oh, fuck yeah. God damn it. I tried to get into one of these shows and we couldn't do it when we were there. So that's so cool that you got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I'm there, and the guys come out, and Woolie, like, you've seen sumo wrestling. You cannot comprehend the size of these men until you see them in person. They are gigantic.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm watching them, and I see the first exhibition match, and they do the clash. And I swear to God, dude, the force of those massive bodies colliding.
Yeah.
And like I see this, like the sweat flying off them, and just the noise. I was like shocked. Like, have you ever seen a car crash in real life?
I'm not two cars. No.
So I've seen it once, and what really shocked me was like the noise, because it's so much louder than you have ever experienced in any media. That is how I felt watching these two like smash into each other. And so they host like a mini sumo tournament, and I'm like, okay, this is insane. And so then the very last section of it is like, we are now going to pick some people out from the audience who will have the choice to face a sumo wrestler. And there's like 100 people in this hall. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's probably not going to be me. And then I just hear like a voice, and it's like, John, you know how this goes. You know what your life is. You know how your look is. This is happening. They draw out the number 16. I look down at my table. Number 16.
Get the fuck out. Oh my God. Oh, wow. That is sick. Wow. Okay. Holy shit.
Yep.
It couldn't go any other way.
Michelle has for years said I have this thing called John look. And it's not necessarily good look, but what it usually means is that in any given scenario, the absolute strangest, most like notoriety-inducing outcome will occur. And if the only proof I can offer of this is my career.
Yeah, no, it is the idea of no, I didn't just have a fun night and go back home and go to bed, because that's not how the story goes, right?
No. So
the story must have its next beat.
Yeah, maybe the purest example.
Insane.
Maybe the purest example I can think of this is the Kathy counter from the Dokapon. Like the most insane. Like, how many things had to happen for the panel to end like that? And yeah, of course, that's how it happened, right?
Yep. A 5 on the scale is not going to occur. We're hitting bottom or we're shooting to the moon.
Yeah.
Like
the Shenmue save game deletion, like, just it's always happening like that. Woolie, would you do me the honor of commentating my sumo match?
Wow. Let's see it. I mean, look, I don't know that I have the chops for, looking at it from sumo commentary perspective, but I've got some FGC, Oh boy. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. In the suit and everything.
They put me in the suit.
Holy shit.
Yep. I actually haven't watched this footage back yet.
What are you being asked?
Who I would like to pick, and I want to pick this dude because he's like the biggest and strongest.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. We got our bow.
There has been 2 other people who have done this, and they lasted maybe 10 seconds.
Okay, and one leg up, next leg up, and I believe when all 4 knuckles hit the ground is when we commence. And okay, and we're in there, and John is got no lower gravity but you're okay, holding their own. All right, getting tossed kind of lightly, kind of easily. The professional here really just very much playing a game of cat and mouse and holding ground, not moving an inch where he doesn't want to be. John almost out of the ring now. Hold on. Okay, gravity not in your favor. And we've got a slide and a push, and we're done. Okay. That could have gone on as long or as short as the wrestler would have wanted.
But
yeah.
Do you not think I kind of had him?
We play with our food. We put on a good show.
It was fucking awesome. And I have actually, this experience got me to start watching sumo. I am watching the current band show. I've been watching it every day.
God.
I am up to day 11. And what that has taught me is that man could have fucking killed me, and he did not.
I mean, so I've seen the super edited gifs of amazing, with the wings popping out and all that cool shit. But realistically, do you know that clip of Steven Seagal in Russia where he's just kind of old and sitting there and gets up, and then they just rush and a bunch of people run at him, and then he just does this and they go flying, right?
Yeah.
And it's all just this insane ego demonstration. It's the fakest thing ever. Sumo wrestlers actually do that. They actually just go like this with their arm, and people flip upside down,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing one of the most insane moves was one person getting pushed all the way back and letting themselves get pushed to the edge, and then jumping and rolling sideways in the air and letting the person's own gravity have them fall out of the ring, and in the air they rolled backwards to land in the ring. And it was not only with the dexterity and it's okay, yes, they're powerful, yes, they're huge, but the insane launch, the ups, the ability to dexterously move aside and have hang time involved is far beyond expectation.
They are a completely different type of athlete, and absolutely, to me, just fly in the face of what we understand the human body to be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're incredible. And that dude was so strong, and he was really nice as well. He afterwards, he kind of just looks at me and he goes, very strong. And he was cool, Yeah, he kind of came in a little all right, yeah, okay. And that meant the world,
That's cool. And I love that, there's there's so much ceremony and tradition to how it's done, and it feels like this hasn't changed an inch.
That is the fucking crazy thing, dude. I've been going back through the history of sumo because I'll be honest with you, I'm down a bit of a hole with the old sumo wrestling.
Not surprising to hear.
And it's crazy to watch matches from 20 years ago. And literally the only difference is the fidelity of the camera. There's no difference.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. God damn. And I love too that over the years I've heard about people that have moved there that people that are from different countries. There's Samoan people that get high up in the rankings. I believe there was a Samoan Rikishi and a Yokozuna at one point. There was a Ukrainian guy that got really...
So there's a Ukrainian guy right now, Awanoshiki, I think he's called. He just took several losses in a row that meant he is no longer eligible for Yokozuna, and it was devastating.
But just the fact that worldwide, you know what I mean? People are coming in, just powerhouses internationally are going, yo, can I do it? And the answer is maybe. Show us what you got, From
my kind of way of thinking, it's we've covered this concept. I love to fight. Fighting is my favorite thing. And going over and being able to have that exchange with someone, it was a very silly thing. And I got my shit rocked, but it genuinely meant a lot to be able to feel what sumos can do. You know, like that genuinely actually hit me in like a meaningful way. Like that actually, I felt emotional about that afterwards.
I mean, you got the divinely picked, you know, the mandate of heaven, like the light shone on your ticket and went, get in the ring, make content, influencer.
Yeah. So look, I want to talk more about sumo on a future versus Wolves for sure. It's been an interesting journey. But yeah, like, and that was for the most part my trip to Japan. I had a fucking crazy thing happen right at the end where my friend Rebecca, who people might know from the streams, I get a message from her towards the last day. Her flight to Abu Dhabi's been cancelled.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And she basically had to come stay with us for the final. Like, we were there for 4 days longer than her, thank God. And it was this fucking insane thing where it was like, oh my God. Like, if she had been on a plane, like, even 4 hours earlier, she would have got stranded in Abu Dhabi. And
yeah.
Like, jeez, that was such a scary thing. But it actually ended up being, like, kind of cool because there was one night me and Rebecca went out in Ginza. And we just ended up in like this really sick, like little like Ginza bar with practically like milk crates for seats with like neon all over the walls. And like, you know, 2 drunken salarymen started calling to us the moment we walked in. Just stayed there till 2 a.m. getting absolutely like shit faced. And it was just, it was one of those legendary kind of nights where like you could never really plan it, you know, that kind of way.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, back from Tokyo now, bought a bunch of stupid shit that I'll probably make a video about at some point, but just had the best time. Like just fucking incredible, and just getting to experience so much great like food with Michelle and everything. It was like, you know, there's just those trips where you're like, that was like an all-timer. That was just
hell yeah,
the coolest. Like
I mean that like, you know, even when things are going off plan and such, the ability, especially depending on if you're in a good neighborhood, the ability to just be like, okay, plans got canceled for today. Let's just go hit a bar up and just see how that goes and just see who we meet or what happens, you know, and having nights like that just get salvaged, you know, from whatever. It's like, yeah, there are no canceled plans don't mean anything. Like, you're still out here in a completely different country.
Dude, legitimately, I think every single, like, you know, best night ever tier night I've had, it's never like, oh shit, there's that big party tonight and we're all gonna go and we're all gonna have a great time. It's never one of them. It's always there's like half a bottle of wine left over here. Do you want to maybe just finish it before I head home? And then cut to 4 hours later, there's 30 people in the house, and it's just that's the shit I love.
Like, it wasn't, there was an FGC meetup in Japan at this, in Osaka at Cross Up, where people would go to train a while ago. And like, that was cool. Got to go and check it out a bit, saw Dogura. But it wasn't about that. It was about, after we played a little bit and left, there was a bar around the corner that looked like someone's apartment. And we just sat there and like had drinks, and the owner was great. And 2 dudes from Osaka were next to us. And together we just like sang this Gundam theme songs. You know what I mean?
That's the shit. That
was it.
Shit.
That's what it was about. You know, it was incredible. And just these moments that are completely unplanned. So, really, really glad you got that. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, just such a great trip, and just so many moments like that. We're just having like weird little interactions with people. And yeah, no, just couldn't be happier with how that went.
Did you do the tech of like packing a suitcase in a suitcase so that you could like bring more stuff back when you...
We did the tech of buying a suitcase when things hit a critical limit.
Perfect. That's it. Yeah. But between that and there's the corner store delivery service of like, if you're moving from one place to another, corner stores can take your luggage and bring it to the place that you're going to stay for you.
Oh.
And it's very affordable. They're very fast and awesome about it. And like, that spared us a lot of struggle last time we went, because I was bringing my suitcase on the train like an asshole, and I felt so shitty doing that. And I'm like, never again. And then we found out about this type of stuff. Kuroneko, you know? So anyway, amazing stuff. That's cool. Got to get back there at some point.
Woolie, we got to do it. We got to go. Might
be +1, you know, to the normal group. We'll see.
Yeah, we can. I'm okay bringing Michelle. That's fine. I love that guy. She's great.
All right,
Woolie, how's life on your end?
Doing all right. We've been up to stuff. I mean, speaking of the +1, you know, the baby is, she's moving on up. She's hitting new milestones. You know, crossed that 6-month threshold. So lots of big changes happened there. That's where, you know, you can start sleeping in the crib. You're out of the bassinet. That's where you can start solid food going. So you
forgive my ignorance with babies, Woolie. What level of like mobility are we at?
Mobility is no crawling.
Okay.
Mobility is tummy time. So stomach, head up, ability to rotate in place, and if seated, ability to kind of balance sitting down for, you know, a minute or so before like, gravity takes over, because head is still all of the body weight.
Gotcha.
But no movement, no crawling. You know, where they're placed is where they stay. And with that, and with the inability to like sit up and stand up and such, is and now that we can introduce solid food, enter the high chair. And the high chair is just, it's the first time that she can sit at the table upright with us at eye level, and we can eat food together. And just that, all of that is like the greatest. Like, she's so hype over that, you know, like it's literally just her sitting there going, you're like, oh, you're here and you're eating and I'm eating and I'm able to like be upright and I can do the thing that you guys are doing all the time, you know, and like we're all here. And it's just this, like, she's just excited to be in that position, because usually she's on the ground or above or being held, and you know, the feeling of independence kind of just with each little step. I never would have thought that like just sitting down, sitting upright and like being at eye level would be such a big moment, but it was, you know. And yeah, I mean, we got some great just memories of that and tons of footage, and I'm calling it footage, but whatever, videos of her. But just like, you know, you can like use the high chair as a like, okay, need a quick pick me up, just sit down, and we sit down, and now we're sitting down together, and it's like, okay, I'm not that sad right now. Actually, this is kind of cool. You know, This is cool to be sitting here. So that's great. You know, and it's nice coming off the heels of, because with 6 months also comes a whole lot of like major primary caregiver attachment. So like mom is world and everything else can fuck off, you know. And
that must be that must be weird. Like that must be hard.
It is hard. You know the deal, and you just and there's tricks. Like I said, I think I mentioned before, but like if you give milk, you're okay. You know, I accept your existence. And there's these moments of like the milk takes a moment to heat up, and like every second that you're not feeding, because mom can just be like, here you go, time to eat. And she's like, okay, ready. But when you got to heat up the milk and be like, it's going. And she's like, what are you doing? And it's just like, you know, and it's getting higher and higher pitched. And there's a level of like, it can't go any faster. And at one point, like, I'm like, okay, I pick her up and I'm holding her and I'm pointing at the bottle being heated up. And I'm like, look, it's right there. And she kind of stops crying and looks at it and pauses and is like, you know, and I'm like, look, you can see the milk. And she's like, nah, fuck this, man. You know? And it's like, you can, like, the moment, she's like, I'm starting to put together that you're saying that it's there, but I don't understand why I'm not drinking it. You know? And, you know, so you can, like, these stall tactics are like, they're starting to come together a little bit, but that's where 6 months is like a big transition moment. Lots of fun. And beyond that, what else is going on? Yeah, I just wanted to mention there's a pretty cool game that came out that I got to check out recently called Esoteric Ebb. Have you heard of it?
I don't think I have.
Okay. So basically, in a world where all kinds of Disco Elysium successors and, you know, spiritual successors, and the company Zaum's fractured into a million pieces.
Oh, actually, I did catch this a little bit. Yeah.
We are looking at a world where some of this is being made by people that had nothing creative done on the original work. And, you know, there's all kinds of, like, whatever dubious projects, some of which are, you know, potentially cool, hope they come to exist, yada, yada. Esoteric Ebb is a fan of Disco Elysium, clearly making a game that is inspired by it, but also very much into Planescape Torment and Dungeons and Dragons, because what you have is a traditional D&D sort of setting, high fantasy, and all the traditional D&D stats, strength, charisma, intelligence, wisdom, you know, dexterity, etc. And all of those stats have an associated, like, voice in your head, so to speak.
Okay,
right?
So we've reached the stage of full on Disco Elysium like, right?
The Disco Elysium like in a setting where you are a cleric in a high fantasy setting, and the world is undergoing its first democratic elections, and strength, dex, charisma, int, wisdom, all these stats each have their own political affiliations.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. This sounds pretty rad.
It's very fun. It's very cool. So yeah, just popping that on for a little bit, and like immediately, it's the kind of game where, and it's a very, like, it's got a great art style to it as well. But like, you can spend like an hour just in the first room, just going through thoughts, looking at things, interact. Like, there's so much density to the conversations, you know, that like a full session of playing was basically me walking into 4 rooms and having really long conversations with about 5 people.
Okay.
You know?
And so how's like, obviously, like, a game like this, like, lives and dies on the writing.
Phenomenal. It's good stuff.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it understands the assignment. It gets the tone. I mean, there's something kind of magical about like Curvitz and Disco and a lot of the way that story was. It had so much to say besides the fun gameplay elements that were like just screaming out of the writers. And in this case, it feels like it's not that. It's not like I have a political message that you need to hear and I must deliver it before I die. But this is someone who's worked and lived and breathed in this D&D world, this setting they've had for years. And then it feels like they, after a while of like deciding how to portray it, decided to put it into the Disco Elysium filter, you know? So this disco is how you learn about this existing fantasy world. And, you know, they also know their audience because, I mean, you walk out 2 doors and one of the first people you meet is a buff orc lady who's hanging out on a wall, and she represents the libertarians of that world.
Oh, I don't want to become a libertarian.
Well, you gotta have these conversations to figure out where to go, you know, and they know, and there's bait. Oh, there's bait, you know, but like you have that, and that's right after you meet the communist dwarves and such, and so, you know, it's a fun setting that was like right off the bat, just like, this is great. And I love the idea that, yeah, never mind, you know, sort of the 5 or 6 different games that are going to come from the explosion of Zaum, of the successors, let there be room for brand new things from people that just loved that game and want to bring that energy into their own projects.
I mean, totally. Like, how do I put? Zaum's spores are in the air.
Yes.
The industry is infected. There is no walking that back.
No going back. No,
and
the
like
disco particles
we are hitting
are upon
the
us.
we are hitting the first era of the Elysium likes.
Yeah, disco particles are being inhaled, absolutely. So that's very cool. I guess the only other thing I just wanted you to take a look at something. So, doing my thing, playing some fighting games. Min, my editor, comes by one day and goes, "Hey, I bought something. Check it out. This is just take a look, tell me what you think, And I was like, okay, this is unexpected. And he hands me a box with this in it.
Huh?
Look at this. It is if you're an audio listener, it is a controller on the left half, and the right half of this controller is an arcade stick with 8 buttons on it. And
this looks like the final boss of like a Resident Evil game that was about controllers, and it's like mutated. This is the nemesis of controllers.
So I've been someone for years that, there's the whole bit with me liking. I like having a controller, a D-pad and a stick in one hand and a mouse in the other for like a first-person shooter, for example. Gives you the best of both worlds because I don't really like WASD. And there are games where I'm like, I'm actually better with a D-pad than I am with a stick. Third Strike,
right?
Street Fighter 6 now, yes. I did switch over to controller because sticks were too loud for Punch Mom, and I was waking her up with the
with Street Fighter 6. You like I remember we had a few games, and you told me how you were hitting more drive impacts on shoulders so I switched over, and surely enough, I started landing impact counters, whatever that is called.
Yeah, drive impact. Yeah. It reaching over to the farthest button to counter something that's happening right away is so much slower than just going, boop, my finger is already on this button, pull the trigger. And so that really helped for Street Fighter 6. But no, so this is just a really cool thing. It's called the Arcade, and it's a custom controller that like you can order that like you're able to control you can specify if you want the D-pad to be PlayStation-like or Nintendo-like or Xbox-like. And this is something that, like, looking at it, I'm like, okay, knowing that Third Strike, for example, is a game where I'm better on D-pad, but I actually want to tap buttons as well. Or Tekken. I like Tekken fingers. I hold it sideways. Like, this kind of monstrosity is actually ideal for some games, and it would be horrifying if not for the fact that the buttons are all right. The stick's all right. It worked out. I was surprised. So for not every game, I have this, all right? I'm kind of all over the place. Old games that I'm used to, one thing, I'm locked in for life. If I play Marvel versus Capcom, I have to play it on a stick. If I'm playing, like a modern, if I'm playing Guilty Gear, I'm playing it on a controller right now. But sometimes you have these. This is a halfway point. And if you're like me and you might be someone that's kind of like, I don't know, I kind of want something in between, and I can't quite get into the leverless, like, sort of like the snack box stuff is very cool, but I'm having a hard time with the thumb button.
I think that stuff is cool for other people, and it's not something, even just like feel wise, it's not really something I want to engage in. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like how a controller feels, and I also love the pop and snap of a control stick. Okay.
It's something that feels good, and I ultimately I'm like, if you're someone like me that might have a game where this is an ideal preference, check it out. It's pretty cool. I always like these Arcade, ARKODD. And you can customize some stuff on it. But I was just like, anytime I see like a weird peripheral that hits a particular niche, I applaud that. And I'm also somebody, again, that wants to have a I want my official mouse and controller setup to be acknowledged or in some way, because there's a lot of times where it's just your thumb on a D-pad or on a stick is more accurate for movement, and a mouse is more accurate for aiming, right? So why do we have to live in this world of inferiors? That's what I say.
I thought it was insane when you said that about the controller and the mouse, but you're kind of right. That
people started doing it.
I can't really argue with that.
And I played Overwatch like that, I played Overwatch with a controller on one side and the mouse on the other, and they eventually made patches for some games where, because one problem would happen is like you move the mouse and then the whole HUD on the game turns to keyboard prompts. And then you touch the controller and it switches back to buttons. Right, so they'd be like, right? And so they made things where you can lock it into one or the other. Like Marvel Rivals has that, for example, as well. So like this setup can and does work, modern problems require modern solutions.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm somebody that didn't grow up really playing PC FPSs, so I never got that like keyboard sort of response thing going for me as well. Like it feels inaccurate and difficult, and it's a struggle that I'm like, I don't enjoy this as much. So anyway,
so Woolie, listen. Speaking of editors coming along and dropping off strange items, I would be regretful if I did not. I received a package from one Super Foxcade, and I opened it up. Let me just go over here. The depth perception's a little off, so I don't know where this is.
Majima can do it. You can do it too. Whoa! Wait!
Yeah. So basically, one skillful ferret, I'm trying to get it.
Holy shit!
Commissioned a full-blown Kathy figure. I believe this is art. This is from the artist Perania, who did the design. She exists and will haunt my studio forevermore.
That is amazing. Holy
incredible,
shit.
Skillful ferret. Thank you so much.
Wow.
I'm currently finding her proper home in here, but yeah, just wanted to show that off.
So I've only seen, because I know that custom figure stuff. I got one of our friend Skelly V of her FF14 character, and I know that they have things like established for that. But wow, just from scratch, Cat, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, put up the name of the person who did it on Etsy as well, because it was really, really sick. But yeah, that was very interesting. So yeah, just thank you for that. Like, Woolie, you encounter really cool treasures every once in a while doing this, and that was just like, it was so fucking cool. So thanks.
Sick.
Woolie, we got a little announcement to make here.
We got a couple.
So I'm sure you've seen, do you ever see those message boards pop up online, Woolie? And it's always like, oh, I'm so worried that the Versus Wolves are going to come and do a panel at my con because I just can't take that level of destruction. And, people see, like, it's gotten around what we do and the impact we have on conventions. And it's a lot, right?
They're still rebuilding MagFest.
They're still rebuilding MagFest. And the thing I always say to people, if we could tone it down, we would. But it's also not our place to compensate for your fear. And, now everyone is like so freaked out about like, oh, where are the Versus Wolves going to do their next panel? Oh, I hope it's not my con. Oh, I'm so scared. Anime North
2026.
We're coming for you, baby.
Look, it's real simple, right? You get some fire trucks in place, you get some first responders around, you get some ambulances nearby.
Yeah,
mitigate the damage.
Whoever's in the local hospitals, clear them all out, make some room.
That's it. Get some beds empty. you mitigate the damage in advance, and then you don't have to complain about it on the other side. We give you fair warning.
It's as simple as that.
We give you fair warning.
We give absolutely, okay. And May 22nd to May 24th, we're not sure specifically what we'll be doing there, but people know what we do. People have seen the footage. You are warned.
And quite frankly, Toronto, like, let's be real. You need this.
Versus Wolves. You need this.
We will be in Toronto at Anime North, May 22nd to the 24th. And Anime North is the first convention I have ever been to. And, I went back for many a year. It's the place where I got my Jet Set Radio cosplay going. It's where I rocked my Xavier Stone from Guitar Hero cosplay as well. And a lot of good memories over the years of that. And, it's one of those ones where getting to guest it now, So come hang out.
At the bottom, now we're here.
It's a classic. If it's also where I remember, I have a collection of my badges of cons I've been to, and that's the one where, through coercion and force and who knows what else, I have a sticker on one of my things that says Yowie North, and I found out.
Yeah, I got a couple of things like that handed to me over the years.
Yep. Had some friends that were like, you're not leaving until you find out about Aino Kusabi. And I was like, bet.
Cool.
So, in any case, we are going to be there, and you should too. So if you're in the Toronto area, come say what's up.
Oh yeah, this is like a mandatory thing for all Versus Wolves listeners. Just to throw people that out there now. So yeah, just call your employer, tell them that if you live far away from Canada, that you'll need some time off to travel. If they disagree, quit your job. Just leave. It's fine. And yeah.
And I'll say this, MagFest visits were like the regular. That was pretty much a thing that was a lock. Can't say that it's a lock these days anymore necessarily.
But through no fault of the fine people who run MagFest is complicated for us right now. I would fucking love to make it back so badly, but just things are weird right now,
We'll have to play it by ear. But in the meantime,
totally.
I can say that what we do get the opportunities like we do here in Toronto. Let's take those. So
absolutely, yeah, for sure. Woolie, before we get into the meat of the podcast here, I do have one little further announcement I would like to make, and so yeah, look, for the last like 3-ish years, I've been running this little merch label called Eyepatch Wolves. And the whole idea with Eyepatch Wolves is that I wanted to do like an anime style clothing brand based on an anime that like doesn't exist. And it's been like one of my favorite things I have ever done, and it has been so rewarding and led to so many cool things. And this is actually the first time I'm announcing this anywhere, so it feels kind of insane because we've been working on this for 2 years. But we are making Eyepatch Wolves a webcomic.
Yeah.
And, here is the trailer for that.
You ready? Crow.
Let's do this.
This city gets crazier and crazier. Sometimes I don't even recognize it.
Holy shit.
By a tune.
Oh my god, that is sick.
Yeah, I guess just
Wow.
first, like, just shout outs to Studio Mala, friend of the podcast, Sean, Paperbag Animator, and just the
Yeah.
incredible work his studio did on that channel. And I just look, it's a fucking weird thing launching something like this. A lot of really talented and cool people have put a lot of work into this thing. My specific role in this comic was like story writer. I did a lot of the art direction. I directed a lot of stuff. But there was, I also just have to give a shout out to like Nemo, the artist, Morgan, who was also a writer on the comic, concepts by Brobex, Hayden, who was like the editor, and Vapor Witch, who was a producer on it, and then Zet, like the letterer, and Dojo, the colorist, who just every single one of these people like put their heart and soul into it, and like I'm so fucking proud of what we did, like genuinely.
Isn't it awesome to have talented friends?
Do you know my favorite thing in the world, Willie? My
best thing in the
favorite
world.
fucking thing is like basically being adjacent to a bunch of talented people, and then you ask them to like do a t-shirt or something, and then people are like, "Oh, Eyepatch Wolf does good t-shirts," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." But like the whole thing was like such a great experience and such like insane learning experience. Like I had to work with people for the first time in like 10 years and like write a story and all that kind of stuff, and like I'm so lucky I was surrounded by so talented and cool people who helped me do that. Like it's the kind of thing where now I look at parts of it and I'm like, fuck, I would love to redo that again in a second. But then like I there's so much of it where I'm like, fuck, I'm so glad that this exists now. And yeah, I really hope people enjoy it. Like I just, you can go read it now. The first 6 issues are out and free. We'll be doing a 25 issue run. And hello everyone, John here, fan favorite of the Versus Wolves cast. I just said the wrong number of episodes that were available. It is in fact 3, but I think you'll have a pretty good time with them. Someone punches an octopus. It's fun. Anyway, back to the episode. Yeah, it's just been incredible to work on. And just lastly, I just want to say thank you so much to anyone who has ever given a shit about Eyepatch Wolves, even if it's just like a comment or like a little piece of fan art. And of course, like everyone who like bought the merch. Only reason this exists is because people gave this a shot and gave a shit, and I will never stop being grateful for that. Write your dumb shit here, idiot notebook.
It's kind of insane how you put on the eye patch and suddenly your brand is now a whole. It is everything. There's books, there's comics, there's all this whole thing is
what
is
if I
blowing
take
up.
off the eye patch and my life starts going to shit?
It all goes away.
And then I have to put it back on and things start going well. Oh, yeah, this could be trouble.
Yeah. All your wildest dreams, but you're not allowed to have them with depth perception.
And that's the bargain. But yeah, just thank you everyone, and it's really cool to be able to announce it here. This is the first place that I'm talking about it, unless you watched the stream I did slightly earlier today.
Everybody, just hustle level insane on the last couple months, especially just standing in the periphery, knowing how busy you've been, and every time you get to launch something like this and do so with like fireworks and bells and whistles, it's just sick. It's pieces coming together,
Standing in the periphery, Woolie.
What?
Is that a bit?
Hold on, if I lean over this way, maybe I can.
Where'd you go? No, Woolie, thank you. It's weird that we've been doing this podcast long enough now that both our lives have changed in weird ways during it, which I guess makes the eye patch weirdly appropriate for this episode. But it's been a blast, and look forward to seeing where everything goes from here. But Woolie, we got some stuff to get to.
We do, and I'll tell you one place that things definitely go to from here is down to a little bar, and that bar is called the Intermission Lounge.
Let me tell you. Okay, look, I don't like to bring this up because I know it bums people out. This episode will end at some point. I know you're safe now. I know you're just over an hour in. Everything's warm. Everything's cozy. It's like when you wake up and there's still 40 minutes left in bed and you're all snuggly and you're like, oh, my friends, you're on limited time. But what if it didn't have to end?
That's it.
What if you could get access to a brand new episode right now? What if you could get access to like 20?
You see, every time you're in the middle of a show and then it's time to take a little break, or Act 1 closes, you get up, you stretch your legs, you walk back out those doors, and you say, let me go get a drink. And where you're going is to the Intermission Lounge. You know, you're going to sit down, you're going to have one, and we'll be there letting you know what's going on. You know, we'll be chatting about whatever is up. Sometimes we go over some stuff that gets rejected in the combo breaker format for the recommends, and other times we just spill our guts out about life and everything that we have come to learn about it. It's a lot more of the latter in recent times, you know?
It sure is. I don't know what it is about that lounge, but yeah. But listen, you know, not to get morbid here, Woolie, but to you, listener, you're going to die someday, and it could be soon. And you want to make sure that you've listened to as much Versus Wolves as possible. And there's no better way to do that than the Intermission Lounge, okay? Spend some more time with your pals, John and Woolie, before the grave approaches, which it may well be doing quicker than you think. So that's my advice.
That's a great reason to check out the Patreon, is
Absolutely.
Awareness that this mortal coil will be shuffled off soon, eventually. We don't know. But
yeah,
you can get some more Versus Wolves in your life in the meantime.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast is where you can go, and you'll be getting one extra episode every month of us shooting the shit and other stuff going on.
Absolutely. You get access to a Discord. You get access to the current Lancer episode, as well as future Lancer episodes. And just people have been asking, are we doing more Lancer? Of course. Of course. You think we're gonna let go of a gold mine like that? Hell no.
I just saw, you sent me today that the person who runs Retrograde Minis made official designs of No Tomorrow and Gentlemen Please Stop, and has the artwork posted here of these mechs and our characters as well. It's so sick, and it's just waiting for the next session, and I'm like, yo, we used your tool. This is so cool, you know?
So cool. So fucking cool. You will also get the opportunity to ask us a question which may get read out in the Intermission Lounge, or might do right here, like one great Kate. Dear Wolfman and the other guy, we know John identifies very strongly with wolves, but what animal does Woolie identify most strongly with? If he had to pick an animal to be part of his brand, what would he pick?
Huh. Okay.
I was curious to ask this one because I realized I don't know the answer to this.
I've been asked this before, and some people just take their, liberties at it, which is totally fun and fine because I've had artwork, of that.
Getting some persona.
Got some persona people that are curious to know which way it goes on that. And I'm not 100% certain. I do know that because I have dreads, a lot of folks have gone with a lion, and I think that looks pretty cool. Lion and dreads do tend to work well visually. My favorite animal from when I was a kid, I remember I always loved Komodo dragons. I thought Komodo dragons were super sick.
Yeah.
So there's something rad about that, and the fact that they just slowly stalk you for up to 2 weeks. You're going down at some point. Well, it was, and it's not to mention it's
that
an
is
animal
often
with the
how
word.
I feel on this podcast.
Just you got bit, and now you're slowly just like a deer, just limping away.
Yep.
And I think Komodo dragons are cool. It also has the word dragon in it. So yeah, I guess that kind of is the deal. I
think Komodo dragon's a strong pick.
Dragons, those are fun. Those are fun. I like those animals. Yeah. But it's not a strong conviction either way. I'm but hence why I agreed to be called a wolf for the title of this podcast. I mean, you agreed to be Versus, so I guess there's some give and take in this concept. Yeah. Thank you, Great Kate.
Thank you, Great Kate. Woolie, I think it's time to talk about a little show called Ashita. No Joe.
Do 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 do. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
okay. So I guess the first thing about this.
The desperation in the opening song.
the fire, the
old,
manly desire,
the manliness,
to express one's emotions,
manly tears.
So this was a really fascinating watch for a lot of different reasons, but one of the biggest ones is this is probably definitely the oldest anime I've ever watched. 1970.
Yes. Did you watch the remaster?
I don't know.
Okay.
The picture quality of what I watched was
it in 4K? Yeah. Yes. Were you watching Okay, cool. Because first of all, so this show was remastered recently, in 2023. And
oh wow.
It was literally just happened, right? And the coolest fucking thing is that it was not AI upscaled. They rescanned the original cells in 4K.
I am not surprised because it is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I can't believe how good some of that looks from moment to moment. And this is going back to those original cells and just getting them at the highest possible quality. You're seeing the mistakes on the cells.
Completely,
you're seeing the word end popping up at the top corner. It's so interesting.
And one of the reasons I would say that happened, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Woolie, but Ashita no Joe is utterly beloved in Japan.
This
is pre-Dragon Ball, pre-Kenshiro. Literally so much of the DNA of shonen anime. I'm not going to say it started here because you can't say anything this is such a primary genesis moment for everything anime would become. And I would also say it's one of the only shonen anime that is pre what I would still consider the real modern age of shonen. To me, the modern age of shonen starts at Dragon Ball and is ongoing. You could make distinctions, you can draw it, but I still feel we are still in that era. This is pre that era. And it's interesting because so much of what you take as conventional in anime storytelling just straight up doesn't exist in this show.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. I feel in terms of how influential it is, moment to moment, there's these things that are happening where it is oh, this is that thing that everybody references way later. I mean, obviously, again, besides the obvious, the shot, cross counters are an anime trope in so many things. And when they happen and people go, cross counter, oh, you know, like that particular shot, you know, of two characters doing one is like, this is where that started. I would argue pointing at the heavens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Pointing at the heavens, I would argue that starts here. Like, it's something that, like, you see its DNA, you know, in so many places and go like, right, this is what influenced it.
I think something I find kind of equally fascinating is the stuff that got left behind, the stuff that you don't see anymore. Like, there's this like kind of visual thing that happens in this show. And I think you could say this may be like turned into the anime sweat drop, but it's different here. And that is when a character feels a flood of emotion, no matter what the emotion is, a string of sweat will like swim down across their face in this really visually like very unusual way, but it is expressive and it does convey like this character is feeling something strongly, you know? And it's like, weird.
You know, because like, and I can envision that in like a manga panel, you know, and here you're just getting it's not a sweat, there's no sweat drop, but they're perspiring with either joy or fear or excitement or rage or everything. There's just like a, you know. Yeah. There's so much of this that I would say is like left in the past, and a big part of it too is, and I'm sure, you know, we're going to get into this with the characters, is that like, how much this is from the past and how dated this is that like, I would not describe Joe as a shonen protagonist, because I don't feel like he is. Like, it feels
Joe
like
is a fucking asshole.
He's a Gekiga protagonist, right? This is like 50s adult manga pulp, you know, from an era post-war where no one's a hero, and like the closest thing you're getting to a hero is barely likable. Like he's more than an asshole. Like, he's fucked up.
Yeah,
he's
like
severely antisocial.
Kind of a like, he's a like problem, like he's a societal, and like that was such a shock to me because like when I knew that we're going back and watching this old boxing anime from the 70s, I was expecting, you know, tomorrow's Joe, he shows up and he gives the bad guys what for, and he's Marcus of Queensberry rules, and he always does the right thing. No, Joe fucking sucks. He like, and like, I don't know, Woolie, I had so many moments where I was like burying my head in my hands and being like, oh fucking Joe, would you just come on?
So, have you ever seen Uncut Gems?
Yes, love it.
That level of just, why would you do that, man? Like that, like tension. I can't believe that I'm getting that off of Joe when I'm going in here and you're like, yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, tomorrow's Joe. And it's like, this is not Ippo. This is not even remotely close to that character or that setting. In fact, like, you go some like 12 or 13 episodes before boxing even happens.
Oh, he gets in a ring on episode 14.
It's like you're spending a whole 13 episode season just hanging out with a piece of shit, man.
Yeah. And like, it's crazy because I always kind of assumed that Sendo from Ippo is Joe, right? And I think there's some truth to that, but you realize Sendo is like a toned down, likable Joe. Sendo! Toned down.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Okay, so let's even get more direct with it. Gearless Joe, Megalobox. Have you seen Megalobox?
I watched the first couple episodes and I just wasn't that into it. And I know everybody loves that show, but yeah.
Okay, so Junk Dog, right? Like your main character. Like, Megalobox is a anniversary send up to Ashita no Joe.
Ah, okay.
it was meant to be like an anniversary
I do remember the bad guy from Megalobox, and he does have a similar face to Rikishi.
With the hair and the jaw.
I wanted to talk to you about Rikishi, Woolie.
But
I was looking for the... Sorry, you were saying.
No, sorry. Okay, we're there's a lot. I just wanted to say about Megalobox that like that is a direct analog that's meant to mirror the original show, and even that protagonist is way more likable than Joe is. Like they didn't go that hard with him because you're like, this dude just lies, cheats, and steals and fucking abuses the people around him. And like has this laugh about it that you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
The most villainous laugh, and like I think the part that drove me insane is like even when Joe can do something very simple to make his life so much easier, like apologize to someone he's wronged, he'll be like, "No, I'll go to jail instead. I don't care. Fuck this. I hate everyone."
Yeah. Like the laughter is like it's almost like this nervous tick, you know? That he's like relying on to like, you know, he's looking down on others, but then he'll use it to look down on himself, you know? And these moments where early on, like this coach that he meets, right, Danpei, the fact that like this dude is fucking sweating double shifts of construction for you just for a dream, and you're like, fuck this guy, I'm taking his money and I'm barely even like looking at a punching bag once during the day. You're like,
and Danpei, like
dude sucks,
this old man is working like triple shifts overnight in like heavy construction to try and like buy equipment for Joe, and Joe is like just not even training, and it's just, I found it so frustrating, Woolie, and I think the reason I found it so frustrating is because you know people like that in real life.
You do.
And like you know, do you ever get to a point with someone and you're literally like, can you not just blank?
Yeah.
Joe is that.
Yeah.
Joe is like, if you would just do this one fucking thing, you would make your life so much easier, and you would make the life of everyone around you so much easier. Why aren't you doing it?
There are mouth-washing Jimmy moments that come out of Joe, where it's like, just take the L, man. You know, and it's like, fuck this. So all this to say, you're like, not a shonen protagonist. This is a like struggle, you know? And then you start to learn about the character, of course, and you're like, pieces come together, and it's like, yeah, this dude, he sucks because he never had a shot. And again, you're like, he hates everyone less than he probably hates himself, you know? But like the era of the time, you know, again, post-war 70s Japan, like that setting doesn't even exist anymore, right? The slums of Tokyo, that's like not that, those places are like the economy turned in the bubble and everything, and you don't even see that type of environment. But back then, that was a setting that he came from. You know?
Yeah, at the start, I think one of the first settings for the place is Ginza, like they say Ginza, and that's literally one of the places I stayed in Tokyo, and it was like, wait, that used to look like this? That, like, dust roads? Like, are you serious?
And you just, you have your street scum arc. that you
literally have like 12, like 10 episodes of Joe just being a piece of shit, and it's like, boxing is kind of in it, but like it's more just his trainer Danpei being like, I think you'd be good at boxing, and Joe literally being like, fuck you, old man. And like it's that for 10 episodes.
Danpei is like sorry.
No, go ahead.
Danpei is struggling with alcoholism and getting sober because he sees Joe and his potential, and he's like, I have a dream that we can go far, and I can turn you into a great boxer. And like, he's such a like, he's an old busted man with an eye patch. And
I guess I know what I'm doing for the thumbnail.
And he's trying to turn his life around so hard, and like this little shit just won't acknowledge any of it. And You know, and even like these kids around him that he's hanging out with, the little rat pack, you know, are kind of like.
I enjoyed them. I thought
I
they
was
were
expecting
really fun.
to be annoyed by the little background kid characters in a lot of things. These kids are totally fun.
Me
They were
too.
totally fun.
I like Sachi, the little girl who keeps throwing her shoe.
Yeah.
I think her rage constantly is very funny.
And every time she sticks her tongue out because she knows she's a dumb kid, and she goes, you know, you're like, yeah, okay, you know what this is. Yeah. After the street scum arc, right? You then at some point get introduced, and I'm like, this is where this motherfucker shows up, and you see the jaw.
Okay,
the jaw shows up before
this
the character
is what I
shows up.
wanted to talk to you about, because you told me that you had watched like 10 episodes and that you were intrigued, and I was like, okay, is there a moment in this that I'll be able to spot the moment this went from something Woolie was watching to a Versus Wolves recommendation? And the great Rikishi rolls onto screen, and I was like, I suspect this is the moment. How accurate is that, Woolie?
Toru Rikishi as the rival is 1,000% where I'm like, oh, John's gonna need to see this. Look at this fucker. Look at his sideburns. Look at his aura. Look at the sounds he makes.
He's like handsome and beautiful at the same time. It's
In a 70s kind of way.
yeah. It is a sight. So Rikishi is basically, he's a pro boxer who's also in juvenile. Okay, sorry. We have skipped over the character of Nishi, and I need to talk about Nishi because there is a trope in shonen that I get endless enjoyment out of, and it is irredeemable monster gets head kicked in by main character, immediately becomes extremely empathetic and likable.
And is straight up the nicest guy in the show, Speedwagon style.
Nishiki, like joke, like Nishiki is like the boss of the cell that Joe gets put into, and immediately he's like, okay, everyone pin him down. Okay, now we're gonna stuff wet cloth down his throat. Now we're gonna twist his limbs and injure his joints. And now we're going to do the parachute exercise, which means everyone jumping off the top bunk onto his ribs.
And just stomping onto him.
Yeah, that's the first thing that Nishi does. And very quickly gets his ass kicked by Joe when Joe recovers. And then immediately becomes the nicest man in the world.
It's crazy. It's so insane. And then he becomes the viewer analog for, oh my God, is Joe going to make it? Is he okay? You know, I was worried about you, Joe. And you're like, this dude was sadistically insane a minute ago.
This guy practically ran a torture cult not one episode ago. And now he's like, Joe, please protect me when we get to the main prison. It's like, okay, dude, okay.
So, and it also, this is a thing where it's like, okay, so guess what? Joe is such an asshole that, yeah, you're not going to exist in society for more than a week before you get arrested.
No,
like, of course he's going to jail.
Yeah,
you know?
Completely.
And people are going out of their way to be like, okay, we think we can get you off if you just relax and talk to the judge and, you know, and everything. And he just won't fucking do it. Just not and smart, can't do it, you know?
And like, so I don't know about you. I had so many moments where I was expecting Joe to fucking turn it around. You know, every episode I was like, and this is the moment where Joe's like, I realize the error of my ways. I'm so sorry, everybody. I want to become a professional boxer. And it just kept not happening.
It's insane. It's so insane. Yoko, right, is like, you know, the angel, you know, the series, just like doing all that she can. And like he definitely accuses her of being like, oh, you're helping people to like enrich yourself and to build your reputation. You're doing it for selfish reasons, you know, Kantism, basically. and you claim to be altruistic, but you're not. And he has this disdain for her, and she kind of just takes it and continues like helping. Also, like, prior to stopping, there's a moment where like Joe goes nuts and like chokes her out. And it's like, okay, this is also of that era where it, like he goes for that and everyone goes, hey, you're crazy, stop it. And then they just no sell it and move on. And I have to bring it up because I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Now, this isn't on the same level at all, but Joe also does like just at several points beat up a cop. And I'm not saying I have a problem with that. I'm just saying that certainly is viewed differently by society now. You know?
I mean, dude is just like, again, like more than an asshole. Like he's like a bad person, you know?
Yeah, he is a problem.
And the camera's following him nonetheless, you know, Tatakai, and you're just like I remember because I got this energy of like scumbag a bit off of like Kaiji, for example, right? But very quickly you're like, oh shit, dude just wants to live. He wants to not die, you know. He has problems, but holy shit, right? And he kind of, in extreme situations, gets to face, you know, his, like deep down what's important to him and realize things. And with Joe, it feels like this process is so just arduous. And you're like, are we making steps forward? I have to believe we are. And there's like, no, wait, we are. There is progress. But oh my God, is it laborious? And I guess that's real. You know, the struggle, the fucking desperate struggle of him step by step trying to, is it worth investing the time into this type of person, is what this story is, really, you know?
Yeah. I think the part that really like broke me is when Danpei, his trainer, writes him a postcard in prison, and the postcard is called it's Tomorrow's Punch #1. Right?
Lesson for tomorrow.
Tomorrow. And it's how to do a jab. And fucking Joe tears it up. And I got so
Not even
mad.
gonna read this. Yep.
And that drove Danpei to go back to drinking. Joe is such an asshole. He re-triggers an alcoholic. And it's like, fuck you, Joe.
And just laughs about it practically, you know?
He laughs, yeah. And it's like, so at that point, I was like, okay, I want to see Joe get his fucking face rocked. I'm never going to like him. I'm never going to believe in him. Whatever. Fuck Joe. There's definitely things about the show that like I had trouble getting into, or like so one of the things in it is, I would say a good 70% of the dialogue is just screamed. Like,
yeah,
like,
of the era.
It is so like, I will defeat you. It's like, okay.
Joe!
Oh my God. So I love Danpei as a character. I do not always love the subtleties of that vocal performance. And, you know, the audio is quite crackly, and it has that very old style music. It sounds very like the music in Dragon Ball that is not the like weird techno shit they did for America that I love and refuse to apologize for loving.
Okay.
And no, it's just better. I don't care. I don't fucking care. It's just better. I'm sorry. The Bruce Faulkner soundtrack is it's just a bet. Fucking go listen to Vegeta turns Super Saiyan and tell me that song isn't unfucking believable. And you want me to replace that with on a fucking like I don't care. I don't agree. Anyway. So like there were parts of it that, like, you know, I had trouble clicking into. I know I shouldn't. I can't resist. But I found this anime so hard to turn off. There was a couple of times where, like, I would watch this in the morning with my bowl of Greek yogurt, blueberries, and hazelnuts, and I would just be like, I have to watch another episode because I have to fucking see what happens here. Like, the moment boxing starts to come into it, so Joe goes to prison. And this is where he meets the great Rikishi. And Rikishi is a boxer himself. And the first thing he does is run over Joe's hands with a bicycle. And I was like, good! Good!
Yeah. That's it. And then, right? And then as your chaser, he fucking weaves through an army of pigs. Right? Because Joe's riding on pigs, which, by the way, Gurren Lagann, Kamina riding on the pigs, it's the exact same shot.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
the exact same shot, right? And he weaves through the pigs and he decks him and establishes his character by putting Joe in the fucking infirmary.
A door or a boar.
Right. And puts Joe in the infirmary for, I want to say, like 2 or 3 days. And you're like, give that fucking piece of shit what for? God damn it. Yeah.
And,
cheering on his downfall.
Yeah. And Rikishi, dude, just has like a smug aura, right?
The shot of every time the camera is pointed at him, you feel like they're angling it like this, and his eyes are big and looking down on you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And it's a very like, oh, this dude he thinks he's better than me. I gotta beat him. And it's like, he is better than you.
yeah. He's kind of like, he's a bit like Miyata coded from Ippo, like a little bit. Like, he's up here, everyone else is down here.
I mean, but there's some Takamura coming off of that dude, though. Big time.
And so it's like, obviously then we are building to like this fight between Rikishi and Joe in prison. And it's Joe hates Rikishi so much. Like, he just fucking hates him. That he's like, okay, I'll learn to box to fuck up Rikishi. And that's it. That's all he wants to do.
And there's a part of him where he's like, okay, I have to admit that these stupid lessons that the old man is sending me at postcards of actually work. And fuck him and his dumb plan for tomorrow or whatever. But when I actually tried doing it, it worked. So fine. I guess I'll listen.
But even like Joe practicing in his cell alone, because of what a piece of shit he is and how firmly the show has established that he fucking sucks, you're like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh,
like, I know we keep saying this, but like, it cannot be overstated.
Okay, but like, Woolie, Ippo, episode 1. Oh, gee willikers, I need to learn how to jab. Joe, episode 15. Yeah, I guess jabs are maybe important.
Right. But this is also why I love Aoyama.
Okay. Go for it.
There's another character that gets introduced, and he's a little wimp, small kid in the jail that doesn't have much going for him, and he's the shrimp, and he gets picked on, and he is eager to learn, and he has the heart of what would be a shonen protagonist, but this is not that setting or story, And I mean, this is and so basically the coach gets to a point where he's like, I see that this kid has no real boxing talent, but he's got the drive. Maybe I can use this against Joe,
And Dampei, the coach, like, Joe comes to him in the prison yard one day and he's like, so what are we going to learn today? And he's like, well, Joe, I actually have to coach all the prisoners now, so I don't really have time for just you anymore. And this is after like 15 episodes of begging Joe to train. And it's like, what? And then slowly the coach starts pulling away from Joe and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Nishi is like, I don't understand. He's the viewer going, I'm confused. And Aoyama is getting all the attention.
And basically, the coach is like, oh, I don't want to train you anymore, Joe. I want to train Aoyama. This little, like, he's literally like half the size of every other character.
Lil Mac. He's Lil Mac. Yeah.
Once I teach Aoyama some stuff, he's gonna destroy you, Joe. Which is like, it's a ridiculous prospect. Like, when you first hear it, you're like, oh, come on, you know, like, you're after watching Joe like beat up like 10 people at once, and little fucking weedy Aoyama is meant to be a threat. And then the show makes him feel like a threat. And that's like,
What?
okay.
Yeah.
He like develops this fighting style where he basically just dodges the entire match until you're tired. And then he like smacks you a little and you just go down because you're exhausted. And it's like, oh, okay.
All points spec'd into defense.
Yes, totally.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
a kind of torturous fighting style as well, because he's not knocking you out with one big blow. He's taking away one health point at a time, and like over long enough, like absolutely torturing you.
The world's tiniest Mayweather, you know. But that's like a you know, this is happening though after the Rikishi confrontation.
And so Joe ends up having to like fight this little fucking dude, and it's like it's so compelling. Like I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And yeah, like that fight goes the way it does. And so like at the end of the tournament, we're back and it's like Rikishi versus Joe. It's like the big blow off fight. And this bit drove me fucking insane because Rikishi reveals that he's actually being let go from prison before like the date of their fight. And so he goes to Joe in the rain and he's like, let's settle this. And Joe puts on some gloves and they go at it. And the fight gets broken up before they can finish it. And I really thought this was going to be the moment.
And I think it's important to note too, right, that like they fought in the ring prior to this. And Joe knew he was outclassed. So the only thing that the coach did was he's like, I'll give you one lesson that'll maybe make you survive here. And it's the cross counter. It's You're not winning, but you can make a stalemate. And he does it. And he manages to get a stalemate. And they both knock each other out. So like he didn't beat Rikishi, but Rikishi didn't beat him. And that's where they left it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, it's at this point I'm realizing, oh, I think Rikishi, and I could be wrong about here because I haven't watched too far past this, Rikishi is the Vegeta. He is the main rival, you know? Because, like, I was like, is he just going to be, like, the boss of the prison arc? No. Rikishi is the man. He is the guy to beat. And in this last fight, alone in the rain, it gets
Guts
broken up
and Griffith in the snow walking away.
Yep. And then afterwards, I really thought we were going to get Rikishi, you know, you've really, you know, our rivalry has made me stronger. Thank you. That's the scene I thought we were going towards.
Well, you actually see after, like, with all the hatred leading into the first Rikishi fight, at the end of it, there's a little bit of, okay, I think I respect you, right? You
and
get
Rikishi,
hints of that.
Rikishi says, I don't hate Joe anymore.
And then Aoyama, same thing. Joe is like getting ignored by the coach at this point, and he's on his knees begging, going, fine, I'm putting my ego aside. I just want you to help teach me how to beat Rikishi. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to teach you shit. I ain't got time for this, you know? And like he goes, fuck this coach then. And then Aoyama is like the product of that rage. They fight. And like at the end of that fight, he's able to go, oh shit, I think I kind of respect you. We grow to respect each other through fights.
Aoyama is kind of the first person he shows, I'll say, not disdain for.
Yeah. And I think because like you know how like so there's two things, I guess. You know how like in Ippo there's like the glow, you know? You kind of have those moments in this where like the spark occurs where like they see an opportunity, but there's a particular moment in the Aoyama fight where Joe like is just getting completely outpaced and goes down and has to like look at in the 10 count like everything that he's done so far, just giving up on it, right? And he comes out the other side of this insane battle kind of being like, oh, boxing is so much deeper than I thought it was. And he kind of gets back up and is like, I respect this sport now. I had no respect for it before. It happened to be a shortcut for me to fight people in a way that would let me, or it'd be organized, but I just want to kick people's asses. And like, he kind of has this moment of like understanding that, and his eyes change and the energy changes, you know? So you go, oh, he grew. And from that, the coach is able to be like, yeah, I was treating you like shit because I needed you to respect defense. Because people who are so aggro like you would never respect defense unless you go through it like this. So now you're here, right?
But then he goes through all that. The fight in the rain with Rikishi ends. Joe takes off his gloves and he had fucking rocks in his gloves, and I fucking get up, Woolie, and I pace around my room and I point at my television and I say to no one, this fucking guy.
Do 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 do. I was like, yeah, I was aghast. I can't, like, the level of, and wherever you go, there you are. You had the arc, you had the moment, you went through the transformation, and then you're like, nah, fuck that guy, you know? And I have to say that, like, that is such a powerful thing that doesn't happen very often in media. So every time it does, it hits so hard, because for one of the strongest examples I've listed here before is Zuko. Right?
Oh.
Zuko coming full circle in Avatar, and then having that moment of like, you are within a hair's breadth of redemption, whatever that means. You have the respect of your uncle, you understand where you came from, what was wrong about what you did, and you are standing here now in the moment, able to move on from who you were. And for a split second, he gets offered everything he always wanted from beforehand. And it's like, God damn it, the old me still wants it. You know? Yeah. And there's that little moment with Joe where you're like, you actually built up the progress and then had this fucker slink back into the darkness.
Yeah. And so, and like from there, I was like, man, fucking Joe. But like, I'm invested. Like, I give a shit. I care. But I'm like, okay, look, I don't want to just keep watching Joe ping pong back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you know? But then we get this moment, and I actually watched this episode this morning. Joe gets released from prison and he goes back to the slums. And the slums, like, Joe fan club has built up at this point, and everyone knows that he's going to try and become a professional boxer, and everyone in the slums is like rallying around him, and they just have a party. It's like an episode where they just have a party. And right at the end of the episode, Joe starts crying. And it's like, what the fuck? And it's because he's not used to affection. He's not used to people like supporting him. And that really hit me. Like, that really got me.
I believe the way he words it is, for the first time in my life, I don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to fall asleep. He's just feeling genuine love from people, you know? And he describes his upbringing as like, he's like, yeah, I don't know, like, I don't remember my parents existing, and I ran away from the orphanage that was abusing me as quickly as I could, or whatever. Like, it was just, you know, life on the streets, day one type of shit. So, yeah, that was a really good moment of like, okay, we've arrived, you know?
So I remember this is kind of a different thing, but it's kind of similar. Where the first time I ever did a meetup at MagFest, did I ever tell you this story?
Probably, but by all means.
It was, so I was there, and it was like I was holding it in like the main lobby of MagFest, and so I got there, and there's this like huge crowd of people, and the first thing I think is like, oh fuck, someone else is having a meetup here, you know. And then they all turn and they all face me, and I'm like I got a fright. It was like, holy shit, this is my meetup, and I didn't expect this, you know. And it was the first time I'd ever like interacted with people en masse, and there was I don't know, like at the time, you know, I'd say it was like maybe like 50 people. Like it wasn't like it would be now, where it you know, it can be a lot more than that. But like I was so not used to that, like just talking to all these different people who all knew what I did and all knew things about me and were like really happy I was there and happy to see me. And like it was a really like lovely experience. But I remember like going back up to my hotel room after that and being like completely like emotionally overloaded from that experience. And I was there with Brobex, and like I started crying. I was like, sorry, I don't know what that was, and I don't know how to process that, you know. And that is exactly what I kind of saw in Joe. And like the dynamics are different because obviously like I come from a pretty decent background and have a family who gave a shit about me and stuff, but it was like that feeling's real. Like that feelings of like, wait, people are like supporting me, like actual people, you know.
And I think too that moments like that, I always love when a good story is able to see that you have to examine those moments from different angles, right? And so he has that one where he internalizes for himself what he's feeling after this long prison arc, you know, and coming back home and stuff. And like there's these moments during the prison too that I love, where like after a great boxing match between Rikishi and Joe, like everyone gets so hyped that they just rush the ring and start fighting each other because everyone loves boxing now, you know.
Yep.
And the inspiration that it inspires and it fires other people up, and they're like, oh man, let's go, we got manly burning spirits, we all want to box, you know. But like literally like, so like right after that, like sleep, you know, crying tears of joy kind of moment, there's a great little thing where one of the old dudes from the prison comes by and is like, Joe, you got 3 hots in a cot and you think you're hot shit? You're not that. You're a stray dog like me. Let's hit these streets, you know? Come on, running from the cops, living a life of crime. That's what we're up to. And he's like, nah, man, I got to beat this dude's ass. You know, like, never mind what, like that is like, I like, do what you're doing. I used to do that, but right now I got this dude that I got to fucking get. And it's like, he kind of goes, oh shit. Okay. No, I see that. That's another way. He's like, you're still a stray, you know, but you found a piece of meat that you're biting onto, you know? And it's kind of like, okay, he externalizes where he's at this point now too, you know? What a wildly different character from what I was expecting.
Completely. That's the biggest shock to me. But like, there's something to it, right? Like there is something to the irredeemable piece of shit who makes incremental progress.
Incremental. Yeah. And you know, with that, you're kind of like, okay, I see the legacy of this and how it hit and when it hit, you
I
know?
mean, like, there's so many parts of this show where you're like, oh, there's Jotaro Kujo. You know, like this Shaw is fucking Jotaro.
Even the screaming delivery you mentioned, I think of any time I've seen like J-drama or live action Japanese shows where people are screaming dramatically at each other to convey an emotion, and there's like a very dramatic type of like shrieking at the top of your voice, type of thing. And it's like, oh, like even that is what they're going for with most of these line deliveries, is like, my eyes are closed with how much I'm yelling out my passions right now,
You're screaming to your rival about how you should be fighting forever and how could he die like this.
It's incredible. I think that like, so basically, got up to the mid-20s or so, right? Stopped around the end of that prison arc in the back home arc is beginning or so. But I thought this was a really just interesting, not EPO.
Completely. This show and EPO are so cosmically different in what they are doing. Like, to me, Joe is a story where boxing is being used to tell this character story.
Yes.
EPO is an anime about boxing. They are
This is not a sports
very
anime.
different. No.
This is not a sports anime.
Sports are there. Sports occur.
Yeah.
This is not about sports.
The very first time a boxing match happens, they immediately go, by the way, the rules are not the rules, because I want you to be able to get as many infinite knockouts, infinite downs, right?
At one
Let
point
them always
in the
get
first
back up.
fight, Joe's coach is like, Joe, stop hitting him. Take more knockdowns.
And you're watching like Rocky levels of concussion occurring, on these people. And there's also a moment where coach is like, no, this should be a fight to the death.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gambling on Joe in his head, but it's like, don't stop the fight for any reason type shit, You're like, oh yeah, this has nothing. This is not about the boxing. This is about the characters, and the boxing is the vehicle, 1,000,000%.
Totally. But yeah, I stopped around the same point you did, and I think it was about episode. It was that episode where Joe cries right at the end. But I felt like that all. I feel like I got a good slice of this show. I feel like I know what it's about. I know what it's doing, and I am pretty keen to watch more. Like I think I'm actually pretty keen to read it.
I am
going.
too. I want to know, because also just for the sake of legacy, like it is something that has been very, very clearly impactful on the genre and impactful on so many things that we love. And for years, I've been told you should check this shit out, So,
and it's incredible that like an anime from literally fucking 56 years ago holds up this well. Like the storytelling is strong.
God damn, when you put a number on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Woolie, where does it go in the pantheon of greatness?
So we have to say, this is Ashita no Joe up to episode, I guess we can just say up end of prison arc, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
episode 24, 20, or 23 or 24, yeah. Well,
So I'm gonna say I think we both enjoyed this a lot. I think we're aiming for low cloud path. So I'm seeing it around number 20 to 17. How are you feeling about that?
yeah, well, when we put the caveat on it, and here's the thing, we have a massive recency bias problem. We are, slaves of the moment, right? Prisoners
okay.
of the moment.
There's no accounting for that. We just have to put stuff where we feel it, and that is why Grand Theft Auto exists, to correct those mistakes. You cannot correct recency bias in the moment.
You can't.
You just have to go with what you feel.
Here's the thing is,
But now, if you want to argue it lower, I'm happy to bring it down.
I think you are correct because it's definitely better than Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. And Vinland Saga is what's like giving me pause. Because it goes above the other things in that area. So Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, Gunpla, Vinland Saga Season 1, Sacred and Terrible Air, Kaiji, you know what I mean? Like all those things. I go, Vinland Saga is fucking great.
I would have real strife placing it above Vinland Saga.
This is why I stop.
Yeah.
The rest of what's there, I'd say up through Batman, Absolute Batman, is, let me just get that correct. That's the thing. Everything there sounds right to me, except Vinland Saga is clearly a real powerful wall right here.
Yeah, and I think that's actually been the wall a bunch of times earlier in Versus Wolves.
It's a bit of a problem where it is, to be honest.
I think Vinland Saga probably should be higher.
I think so too.
But
I think so too.
We're powerless to do anything about that right now, Woolie.
So then why don't we ignore that problem and put this where it ought to be, like, regardless of Vinland Saga?
So, Ashita no Joe. So you're thinking that it goes higher than Vinland Saga?
Yeah. Definitely in this range, though.
I think a modest place for it is under Sacred and Terrible Air. If we really wanted to boost it, I would say it beats Sacred and Terrible Air. I think it maybe just edges out Kaiji.
Okay.
It's tough.
It is tough. I can live with it. Above Kaiji. Or below it. I can live with it attached to Kaiji.
I think below Kaiji. I think that's where it goes.
Okay. And that's not to say it doesn't eventually get above with more episodes. But based on
in the fantasy
us,
universe where we go back and experience more of every single one of these shows, we'll reorder the entire list.
But for now, Ashita no Joe up to episode 24 goes in slot just below Kaiji at number 23.
Cool.
Okay. Before the next segment, actually, there's something I kind of forgot to mention earlier at the top of the show. But last time we talked about liminal spaces and, well, two things. One, they announced the Backrooms movie.
Yes, that did happen.
And that's a thing? Did you know that was a thing?
I am very aware. I am very, very aware. Is it still Kane Pixels directing?
Is this the first internet meme turned into like actual feature film?
I think there is other stuff where the rights are kind of nebulous, and yeah, I think it's been done before. I think never to great success.
So unlike because there's like Slenderman or SCP and stuff, but Backrooms was a person that created it, right? Like there's a credited
No,
individually?
not really. No. Backrooms was a photograph that someone took, and someone posted it to a message board, and it was posted to like a liminal space. I don't think it was a liminal space message board. I think that concept didn't even exist. It was just a message board for like weird images.
Okay, because I just remember in the game that I played, the Complex, like the opening credit thing said, this is based on but not related to this person's backrooms.
I think the person who did that is Kane Pixels, who did his own spin on the backrooms. And he made these he's like this fucking like 18-year-old who just made these incredibly like well done shorts about like people investigating the backrooms. Now, Kane Pix, like his stuff tends to lean more like there are spooky monsters in the backrooms, which I feel like gets away from a little bit of what I like about that stuff, but like it's still interesting and it's still cool. Him at like 20 years old is directing the Backrooms movie.
Wow. Okay. That's what's going on. Okay. Wow. And I guess the other thing is I didn't think of, because this is the type of thing that like it always is after the fact. I didn't think of two really strong examples of liminal space media that I have consumed and or am consuming that really do convey that energy. One is Mirror's Edge.
Oh, big time. Yep.
Is a big, weird, crazy city that is office spaces and liminal spaces that you're running through. It's still a lived-in place, but it feels like this kind of cold, sterile environment. You know, the lore is telling you that people are there, but it does feel like corporate buildings and helicopters are everything. But that is one that has it. And then the other is I'm watching the show Severance. And Severance actively uses like infinite office space horror as a part of its like creepiness. Is like you wander from one department to another and it takes you God knows how long because every corner looks the same. Everything is just like a maze, you know? It does a really good job emphasizing the like tension that a setting like that or like
for sure that show looks incredible.
So just remiss to not mention two strong examples of that same concept, you know. And now there's a film as well. Wild. Did I see? I thought I saw a name when that trailer dropped. Okay. No. Jared Leto is not in the Backrooms. All right.
Or is he?
Might be. All right, moving on. My recommendation this month was a long time coming. It was Fear and Hunger 2 Termina. And or we can go with the classic. John, why did you recommend me Fear?
You know why. Know why.
Yeah. So here's what I got, right? I, in the end, playing through the first game, no matter what you say or I say about how it was played or whatever the stipulations were, I walked away with that with a respect for like the concept and what Miro was going for. And, you know, there were some stumbles. There were a couple of things that weren't quite my speed and not to my taste. But overall, the idea of this like small RPG Maker project that is about a oppressive, scary, intensely mean and cruel world and thrusting you into it unprepared is something that it's like, okay, cool. I you know, these are the projects that like the things on the edges of games that are being sold commercially that are fun projects that should exist. Immediately I will say that Termina just within one session, I'm like, oh, we have cleaned up this concept. And
So, look, there's a lot you could say about Fear and Hunger. I think one thing that is kind of inarguable is that it is the first big project from an amateur game maker. And everything about, like, its story and, like, its design, there is a roughness to it. And there is a kind of... There's parts of it where it's like, this is a person trying to write an edgy story.
Yep. A high schooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
while I would say Termina is rough in its own way and in a lot of ways unfinished, there is a competence and confidence to it that I don't feel is in that first game.
Yeah, it's much more designed. It's much more thought out. And I would say, too, that while still edgy, the thing that I was told in advance, which I do feel is true here, is it has much more respect for its characters.
And I would go so far as to say empathy for its characters. They do these characters do not just exist to suffer. And that is a part of why they exist, but that is not all of who they are, and it is not every moment of their existence.
So, booting this thing up, I'm looking through the characters that you can pick from, and, you know, you don't get any names initially, you just see the classes.
Who'd you pick, Woolie?
I hovered for a very long time on this cool-looking girl with a wrench in her hand. And I'm staring at the Winry energy that I'm getting here, and I'm very, very, like, drawn towards that. And then I move a few boxes over.
Uh-huh.
And I see a boxer.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But just be clear, at no point there did I think you were picking Abella. I knew who you were picking.
And that sounded interesting, right? And also knowing last time that the idea of weapons to begin with is already a struggle. I liked a character that potentially could walk into a setting and always be armed, right?
And in fear and hunger, that's like kind of a weird feeling, right? Like that someone would be that competent nearly. I don't know.
That's, you know, it just feels like you want to be able to handle yourself even if you're completely naked, you know? And so I ended up picking Marco. And, you know, from that first train stop, you kind of go through the motions, you do your backstory. And I you know, ended up with some cool bobbing and weaving. And
one of the first things I noticed when I played this game was, oh, wow, these backstories are so much longer and more involved.
Yeah, you actually, I mean, you go through, you know, a couple paragraphs of how they got to where they are. And I feel like the first game, you get a single paragraph for each ability or so. And here they give you the full, like, here's where you came from. Here's your motivations. Here's what you're up to. Here's why you're on this train. Ended up, you know, the train stops. You get to that intro sequence where, you know, you kind of immediately are met with some horrors and you're like, okay, we're back. I remember this. Every boss, every fight, everything is a puzzle. And, you're kind of right away. I'm looking at what my character has and I'm like, okay, I got some lockpicking and I got some defense and that's about it. Let's meet these people and see what's going on, you know? So this is something where, like, yeah, I do ultimately, like, I like the idea of this, again, a game that requires you to just confront it head on. You don't know what you're going to get. And when you do get confronted with these things, it might go horribly wrong. And that's all she wrote, right? There's a time in my life where potentially losing 4 to 5 hours of progress going through something and then learning from that and then having to restart it would have been encouraging and or like, oh my God, it hurts, but here we go. Let's run it back. Now is not that time.
Okay.
And I have to say that I have to put up front here that I really, for everything that I enjoyed, I really, really struggle with the idea of go fuck yourself progress save systems, especially now. And the idea of like, you can't stop and saving is a limited resource and that's the difficulty. And also if you fuck up, it's all gone, etc. thing. It's almost a non-starter, right?
Okay.
And I when you save and like you go, okay, I make a couple saves and suddenly it says day 2. And I go, oh God, this is what you're doing to me, right? And beforehand, it was like, no, if you save, you might get fucking crow-maulered or whatever. Flip a coin, see if you die. And now it's like, no, but you have
when you
a
start
clock.
Termina, you think the save system is more forgiving because there's no coin flip anymore. And then you realize it ain't.
It's not. And so I have to say, like, the idea of, again, do as much progress as you can, and when you choose to save is actually relinquishing control, and like you save regretfully because you're like, oh, I'm losing some here, and there's ways
just to be
around
clear,
it.
So for people who haven't played the game,
Yeah.
Termina, the entire game takes place over 3 days. Each day is broken into morning, afternoon, and evening. And the way you progress is you sleep in a bed, which gives you the opportunity to level up and save your game. And so what Woolie is talking about is every time you want to save, you are basically spending that part of the day and moving on to the next part.
Yes. And like the idea that what you're dangling in front of me is the last 5 hours of gameplay here that I'm doing while keeping the baby on watch, while getting up to while squeezing this into a night shift. This is not my idea of fun, that you're going to dangle that in front of me and take it away when I fuck up. Like, there's a part of me that is down for a version of this because I love a good Souls game. I love a game. I love this type of thing. But when I think about the particulars of it, it's one thing, right? Like, a save is not quite acting like a bonfire. But it is a reference point from which you can continue to either make mistakes or decide, you know what? I stumbled badly enough to be willing to continue and lock this progress in. Let's move time forward a little bit.
Bonfires also don't cost you anything. They regenerate the enemies.
That's
but
what I'm saying, right?
It. Yeah.
And so if this game were to have this whole structure to it, right, where it's aggressive and mean and you can't know how it's going to handle things, etc., but you have this associated, what needs to exist here is a snapshot save, which is a quit on the spot like a Souls game and return to that spot, and just you can continue. There's no safety here. You simply stopped playing the game and are resuming from that point, right? Any of those games allow you to do that. This does not. It's an RPG Maker game, but it doesn't allow this to, and so, it's going through. The fact that you can't do that that sucks, and I hate that. It's not, this is a big problem for me. It was like Punch Mom would see me coming down and be like, oh my God, you're going through it. I'm like, yep, it's just what it is, right? So like, this is a thing. And kind of having that initial, okay, we wander up, we go see this forest. Okay, let's break into the sewers. We're going into the sewers. I'm underprepared here. I think I got a party member, and then hitting one of these enemies and going like, yeah, you're not ready for this type of thing, and you're gonna die, etc. It's like the part where just the carrot is dangled at your ability to walk away from the game is the carrot. It's just like, you gotta let me just save where I am and walk away, like, and if I resume, you can kill that save and make it a snapshot that's gone. But I really wish it had that.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does. I don't think I'm feeling quite the level of agony you're feeling with it, but I'm hearing you.
So, but this is kind of what it was, right? And this is, on the normal setting or so, right? Where items are, still randomly spawning and, you're picking things up fairly randomly and such. So like, yeah, there's a point where I kind of feel like I'm pushing through and like, I get a Bella as a partner. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, it took me a long time to realize how early you could get a Bella.
And yeah, you can get her if you go to the right place, right? And such.
On morning one, yep.
Yeah, and kind of seeing, and I remember last time too, like, what happened? Last time I got a Book of Enlightenment, and then I didn't know what it was, and I used it, and it fucking was the most important thing you could ever get, because it saves anywhere at any time, and then it's gone. And the idea of like, yeah, nope, sorry, go. I'm like, I'm enraged. I'm infuriated. I'm like this.
Okay, so here is, I feel like there is such a fundamental difference in how we've used those games. To me, what you got out of that Book of Enlightenments is the knowledge of how Book of Enlightenments work.
I know.
Progress is information in these games. That's the part. And so there is nothing wasted. You aren't, when you die, you're not losing 2 hours. You have gained all the knowledge that you got in those 2 hours, including how not to fucking die like that.
What is wasted, unfortunately, is time.
When you fight a Dark Souls boss and it takes you 4 hours to beat the boss, are the 3 hours and 59 minutes you spent dying against that boss wasted?
No, I definitely grow and learn from those experiences and have fun as I'm coming back in and challenging it. But I think that this is not quite, this doesn't feel, I guess, the same in that way. It feels a bit like you're trying to solve the puzzle of the boss or of the enemy. But sometimes it's also about like RNG coming to the rescue if you're lucky enough, right? Picking the right thing up off the shelf or so. And this is not, now I feel like I feel like it's going more negative in the sense that
I gotta disagree with you here.
Okay.
The bosses, it never comes down to RNG, really. But with a boss, it's not about the specific boss battle. It's about everything around the boss battle. It's about your route to the boss, what party members you pick up and where, what areas of the maps you visit in what order, and these are all pieces of information that are informed by your knowledge and what you have learned on those failed runs. If you want to have a good time with Fear and Hunger, and especially Termina, you have to be okay with a run or two going to absolute shit.
And that did happen.
Okay.
But, in trying to, I guess, and the thing is, okay, I guess the other thing too is there's a part of me that's like, I would like to experience as much of this game as I can. And I'm looking, and there's a part of me that's also going like, I can get very little done and kind of come to this and go like, okay, so here's what I was able to see in multiple failed attempts of the same areas, and eventually getting I'd show up here saying like, this is how much of day one that I saw, right? And I definitely hit a point of like when I'm walking, when usually what I would do is I pop the game on when I'm on night shift and I'm watching the baby, and I got a couple hours to keep an eye on her. I got to go feed her, and then I'll bounce up to do some progress before eventually tapping out when mom wakes up and we switch off. So, when I get to, like some 4 or 5, sometimes even 6 hours of going through and making it to a point. Basically, I'm like, okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm wandering and I'm going to pick something up, and if it's a sign or if it's a sigil or whatever the hell is going on, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm going to look up what this does. And that was my way of going through this, and I felt no qualms about that. I'm like, nope, my time and me going through this for my own sanity and enjoyment here, I'm going to look up what this does, and I'm going to look up whatever the case. And basically, I'm like, when I sit at this bed and lock this in, all right, I feel this is a decent place to stop. I can pick this back up the next time I get a chance to, and make it a decent way through the game and have something to say about it, right? So that's kind of how I went through it, is wander, see a space, see a thing, and at certain points I was like hitting areas where I'm like, oh, I know that fights are like not worth picking, but like in this case, but I'm like, I could punch a couple things, and I managed to like, down a few enemies by like working the body and stuff. Wrench toss is fucking great.
Wrench toss
right?
is amazing. And I also think in this game, enemies are much more susceptible to just being torso DPS'd to death, right?
Yeah, I did that a bunch. I was like, the old game of like slice the ankles, game for the head is like, that's still there, but you can punch a bunch of motherfuckers in the body.
Aren't as like hard in this one.
And so basically I hit that medium of kind of going like, okay, when I don't want to, well, whatever. I've described it. I'm just repeating myself at this point. So yeah, I found myself like at some points kind of like wandering into areas where I'm like, I don't know what is progress or whether this is like, I kind of see like, okay, there's a mansion and then there's the city, but like there's this path here that kind of leads off to the side, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm going this way, but let's just see. And I go and I'm turning on a random machine and walking back out, and I'm like, okay. Basically, yeah, through these, I took a number of, I want to say it was like maybe 8 or 9, like just like full nights of like, eventually I'm committed enough to liking what I've progressed, and I hit the mansion and I met the gentleman. I have a couple of encounters where I'm like, this feels like a progress moment. I'm a save here. I'm a sleep here, and I wind up back at the train, and so I end up with a party that more or less ends up looking like Marco, Abella, Olivia, who eventually gets a wheelchair.
Love Olivia.
Eventually gets a wheelchair, so she joins up, and I make it through the sewers and then up into the city, and then like it's like, oh, is this going to be kind of like wandering around the city in the first game? And it's like, actually, it's almost identical in the layout in some ways, but then it gets really nuts and shit gets really aggressive. Like there's a ramp up in go fuck yourself.
I would say when you reach the city, that becomes like, that's where the early games ends. That's
I guess so. Because again, wandering about feels very, very risky, and exploration everything feels risky. But it's nice that, for example, light and mind and such are a bit more manageable. Food is no longer going expired, so that's nice.
Yeah,
I never really had any issue with food or sanity in those games. I feel like you're getting way more supplies.
Well, here's what happened to me. So I wandered into an area that led to a forest, and that forest led to tunnel 1. And in the tunnel, or before the tunnel, there was an insane fucking get the fuck away from it, like, beast that's rushing you down.
Though that thing is so fucked up. That is such a tough fight.
Yeah, I just ran, and in getting down into that tunnel, eventually you hit a point where I see the yellow mage wander up, Osa, right? And while I'm talking to him and he's asking me stuff, baby wakes up and starts crying. So I go, oh, let's go deal with that. And I go deal with that. And I walk back to the controller. And this is after hours of getting to this tunnel and through the tunnel and to the end of the tunnel, by the way. So that's city into side city, into news area, into forest, into deeper forest, into tunnel. And then I walk away and I deal with the baby and I walk back. And because it was not on a pause screen, it was in a dialogue box. I was out of mind and out of food.
Oh, yeah, I hate that. Okay.
And that sucks.
That sucks.
And I got through the dialogue and then looked I'm like, oh, well, the resources I had are fucked here. So that's it. And, I'm not doing that again. It's not about, you learned. No. I'm not doing that again. So we're saving here. We're committing to this. This is what it is. You fucked up your thing. And like, that doesn't feel good.
No,
right?
Sure. Yeah.
So a moment like that is kind of like, ugh. Right. And so I'm just,
and that's in the way that you don't like. I don't want that. Like, that's not what I want to experience in these games. And so, like, I get it.
And so that kind of happens. And so, like, okay, that was that fucked up my shit for a minute. I was pretty much out of food and out of beer and vodka and everything, and such. And I was like, fuck the sewers. That's just all death, But yeah, kind of eventually. I'm going through this and I'm seeing that essentially what's happening as the game is sort of moving along in time is that there's these different people in the train that are the original contestants, these 14, and every time you save, you have a chance to upgrade your skills and see who's alive and who's not. And some of the contestants are, doing whatever they're at as time is moving forward, but others are getting moon scorched and becoming essentially just hollow, mindless monster versions of themselves, So yeah, I encountered like the soldier kid, Levi, and that was one where it's just like, I don't know if this is a situation where you all can be saved or not, but sorry.
Wait, what scenario did you encounter Levi?
I was walking through the sewers.
So you did not encounter Moon Scorched Levi. You encountered Levi's doppelganger.
With the face all fucked up?
Yeah. Moon Scorched is a different thing. Moon Scorched are like fucked up monsters. The doppelgangers are like the weird clone people who have taken... And they actually exist for a really interesting reason. Originally, Miro couldn't figure out... There were certain scenarios where a character... A couple of different things would trigger, and a character would need to be in two places at once, which is a problem if you then recruit that character. And so Miro implemented this system where when that happens, you encounter their doppelganger instead.
Right. And I've since I think I've learned, because I encountered a couple others too, and there's the other thing too is that you get their head, and thus you get access to a really good economy.
Yeah,
You know?
contested heads are like the best currency in the game.
Right. And that was the other bit too, because later on in the city, Dan joined my party. And so he was walking around with us for a while. He hung out for a little bit off onto the side beach area where the little slums were, and then left. But then I got him back in one of the hotels. But yeah, ran into the Olivia doppelganger, for example.
Oh, she's creepy as shit, isn't she? That really bothered me, that bit. Basically, Olivia uses a wheelchair, and then you just encounter her just sprinting through the forest, and you're like, that
What?
that's not right. And yeah, oh god, I found that bit so unsettling.
And, you know, so some of the books you're picking up here too as well are like harkening back to, some of the gods and the lore that was set up in the first game. You know, the god of fear and hunger, right? The god of destruction and creation. And this is another one of those bits too, where like, as I come across these sigils on the ground, I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I'm not putting the wrong thing down and ruining my game. I'm looking up exactly what this does and how to use it.
In fairness, because of the two separate sigil grounds, I have to look that up sometimes because I forget which sigil goes where.
And which symbol belongs to who, etc. So basically that's the thing, is I'm moving through this game going, let's go this way. Okay, what am I looking at here? And then I kind of see what it is and I go, okay. Then I'm going to do this instead, you know? And it was nice to, like, for example, wind up at the bar, at the Prevhill Bop. And in there, Dan is like, hey, I can bartend. And he'll mix you a drink. And then you get full mind out of it. And then you get a little, like, fact about the drink, almost like playing Catherine, you know? A little, like, thing. And I was like, okay, that's a nice circumstance that I was able to get because I had him, and this little joint is a fun place to save.
And so out of place from like Fear and Hunger 1. Like there's
definitely
nowhere in Fear and Hunger 1 like that.
Speaking of out of place, I'm like, what's the deal with Rancid the Sergal? Mataneko Kono Magnificat? This like giant like cat with two spears that's like talking and coming at you and is kind of like edgelord coded.
So I don't know for sure. I think that is related to some either friend of Miro or a content creator or something. There's some extra thing there.
It seems like it was a content creator that got a cameo, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something that I was like, this feels different, you know, almost like it doesn't fit in here, and you kind of wonder about it. But taking his arm off led to fucking an incredible spear, so that was cool. And so yeah, basically, this is one of those things where I think by the point that I had gotten, you know, that machine turned on and I got to the museum, and then I see Pocket Cat, who, you know, is the standout nightmarish aspect of that first game, and is back now, and just implying, if you know, you know, but if you don't know, then he's just a creepy cat, you know? And I was like, oh my God, okay, this fucker's here. Am I going to have to feed him children? And it's like, no, but if you give him contestant heads, you can buy a save, you know? So that was big. And yeah, and I kind of more or less found myself wandering through, got to that point, and was like, okay, from here I can clear up this area, I can use this map, I can use some of these sigils and everything that's going on here, and see that there are other tunnels with other machines to turn on, and got those on, and went and did the route through the museum, and went down and got to the bunker.
Okay, I have a few questions.
Yes.
Did you encounter a clown?
No.
You didn't meet Needles?
Oh, yes. The mime. Sorry. Yes, I did. That is a go fuck yourself. It's running at you and yep, gets the time to die type thing. Yep. Very nice to kill him and have that problem be removed permanently.
Needles is interesting. Needles, he kind of seems like Crow Mauler. He works very differently than Crow Mauler. If you don't kill him early enough in your playthrough, he will start murdering the other contestants.
Oh,
and
interesting.
you can actually like stumble into scenes where someone you are about to recruit is being murdered by him, and they're like on the ground and he's like cutting their heads off.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He can also, if he kills you, he doesn't kill you outright. He captures you, and you wake up in a different part of the map, but your party members are gone. And when you walk around the streets of Preheville, he has strewn their bodies throughout the streets and made like these grotesque art displays out of them.
Okay.
One more question.
Yeah.
Did you encounter the mob?
Yes. Yes.
Fuck the mob. Right.
You get the Molotov cocktail, and then and the speed at which a thing on the map runs towards you kind of tells you whether you're meant or not to deal with it. Right?
Yeah, right.
Because like when like a fucking what's it called? Death mask pops up.
Oh, fuck those guys, yeah.
Right? And it's like, okay, you can pause right now and pull out your gun and pull out your bear trap, you know, and do like part one and like empty every resource you have into dealing with it. But the speed at which the mob or Needles runs up on you feels like, no, you are not going to sprint away from this, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. What else was there? I guess it was seeing like the rare dimension Silent Hill stuff was like okay, like that felt a lot like Silent Hill. Like I think I was pretty clear what they're going for there. That museum clock puzzle is absolute bullshit nonsense.
I don't know why that's there. I didn't like that bit.
Yep. That again, happy to just be like, nope. We're moving past this. It was interesting because going into the bunker and I had my I used my Book of Enlightenment and then like went through after doing the church, by the way, which was pretty cool. I liked it. I liked the church dungeon, you know. That was interesting. The final bunker being like actually your route to a different ending, you know, is interesting. So you get into a very different feeling area. The army kind of plot is mainly focused at that point, and going through there, coming across the Kaiser. And, you know, having a like proper like final boss Ash, you know, encounter of sorts. It's weird having all that energy while also going like, I've been exposed to like a fraction of this lore and only one character's worth of perspective on this. And I'm sure if you replayed this with everybody and got the full picture, you're getting a whole thing.
Oh, no, there's full on like Matthew Matosis, or not Matthew, Vatividia like level, just complete hours long analysis and breakdown of the lore of these games. I'm even only like tangentially aware of a lot of it. Like I mainly just get it from the games, but yeah, that you can go deep on these.
But you know, taking the opportunity to pop some heroin, pop some pep pills, take every single consumable resource possible, and rush the fucker. Is like, it's like, if not now, then when, right?
Exactly. Yep.
It's that. And then by this point, I've got Marco. He was doing his punches, but eventually I was like, you're gonna do better with this spear. And I've got the wrench toss going with Abella. I've got Olivia casting, mind spells, and I've got Dan just swinging.
That's a team I end up with a lot. Those specific four.
Okay, feels like is it just me? It's like that's the first people you kind of run into in some sort of way. Like, no, that's not true. Like, it feels like you kind of wind up with I maybe if I made a left instead of a right, things would have turned. But like walking back to the train and seeing like Olivia's there and being like, oh well, shit, you just got left behind.
So okay, I'll cover it in a little bit. The answer to that question is it depends.
Okay. But ultimately, took them through past the Kaiser and fought logic, and that's where it was like, okay, you can just, this is just long ass fight. You're fucking zooted out of your mind on drugs, take it all the way through. And the ending that I see is ultimately like join the hive mind, and it was interesting because it was kind of like, oh, like the tower wasn't even a part of this equation whatsoever at all, so after that I was like, well, what the fuck is the deal with it? And I went over to it, and it's like every bone in your body feels like this is wrong, you shouldn't do this. And then you hit the door and it's like, oh, your entire party must die now. And I didn't realize that, like, if you don't do that route to the basement, to the bunker, you actually are just forced to kill everybody. There is no way out of this,
Yep.
So I thought there would be like, this would be a multiple ending game that had like, I guess this group survived or that group survived. And it actually is a zero sum outside of this completely separate path thing,
So right now there's 3 endings. The first one is logic, the one you did. Mm-hmm. Then there is the kill everyone ending. And then there is the kill everyone sulfur god ending.
Yeah. So what I did was I went back to the tower, ended up fighting the party, used all my resources and killed them, and was like, I don't have the time to go hunt down everybody else. I'm going to just look up the endings, And so I saw
hunt down everyone else is very much I am start planning this from the beginning, and I am taking this on very methodically and very carefully.
Yeah, I mean, I was fucking dodging the sewers the entire game because of the face popping, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not, you're telling me now it's like, no, you got a plan to go deal with everything? Like, yeah, that's a different game entirely, and not one that I had time to play. But I did get to, experience the Marco route through to A, and then saw the others and kind of got an understanding of like everyone is in a place at a certain time, and there's a almost like Way of the Samurai, like schedule that you can learn about and follow to get certain outcomes. And so this is way more complex than I thought it was.
And this is really kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, because to me, like, I think Termina is like one of the most fascinating sequels I have ever played, and specifically in how mechanically it works. When you start a game in Termina, you are basically entering this giant clockwork world. So when you pick a character, every other character you don't pick becomes an NPC in that world. Each of them have a specific route through the game. So, let me give you an example. Marina. If you don't pick her, she has a route where if you don't pick her...
I found her.
Yep.
Where did you
And
find her?
I found her in the mansion. She joined me, and then we walked out, and she fucking ran away.
Okay. So let me tell you what can happen with Marina. Marina, if you go to the mansion on day one instead of going to Abella, you'll find Henrik there. And Henrik is going insane. And you can tell Henrik, hey, dude, chill the fuck out. Stop going insane. And he'll be like, oh, sorry. And he'll go back to the train and he'll become your chef. You can visit him anytime you want and he'll cook you a meal and restore your hunger.
Wow.
If you don't do that, Henrik moon scorches into the gentleman.
Right.
But as the gentleman, Henrik captures Marina and puts her in that room. But if you visit that room earlier in the day and you open the door, it unlocks that door, which means that when Marina gets captured later in the day, the door is open and she is able to escape.
Leave.
And so she goes to Central Preheville and she ends up in the bookshop in Central Preheville.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But if you don't kill Needles early enough, he will meet Marina in the bookshop and murder her. So you just find her dead body.
Whoa. Okay.
Take everything I just told you.
Yeah. And apply it to all 14 characters.
Multiply it by 14, and
Yeah.
you'll start to see what this game actually is.
This game is it's breadth. It's not about going down. It's about going across.
Exactly.
Wow.
Fear and
Yeah,
Hunger 1
okay.
is this linear progression. It's this gradient from dark fantasy tropes to cosmic horror. Fear and Hunger 2 doesn't have that. What Fear and Hunger 2 does have is this entire fascinating clockwork system of different characters doing different things at different times of the day. Every one of those characters has a route through the game and an outcome that can be altered. So another one. Okay, you picked Marco. And so Tanaka brought the wheelchair back to the train, right?
Was he the one that did it? I didn't know. He was there, but I didn't know that he was the one that did it. Yeah, okay.
He's the one who did it. If you don't play as Marco, Tanaka and Marco go into the town to find Olivia her wheelchair. But Marco, being a a red hot blooded young man, gets into a fight with Pav, the Nazi officer. And Pav,
I don't even know who that is.
And Pav ends up killing Tanaka and Marco unless you stop him.
Okay.
There's another train passenger, Caligora, who starts murdering the other train contestants.
So I don't know who Pav is, but when I went to sleep in the mansion, Caligura was like, hey, I know you, you're after me.
Yep. So
Right.
that only has a 50% chance to happen.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't fucking care, man. And like,
Yep.
he fucked off, you know? But
So Caligura will start murdering other train passengers, but if he doesn't, some of those train passengers will moon scorch on day 3 and become active sub-bosses roaming the map.
Okay. So like everything that you do, it's not just the first change. There's also when it's every time
There
two
are
people
chain
interact.
reactions
Yeah,
and
yeah,
chain
yeah,
reactions
yeah. Wow.
to chain reactions.
I would love to see the whiteboard of the timeline and the effects of the events in this. That's really
Well,
impressive.
Woolie, let me tell you about a very special little video that's coming out soon.
Oh yeah, a revisit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. That's a really complex way to build a game for sure. Yeah, non-linear but like horizontal, and thus the replay value. And so, okay. I see. Yeah, I mean, it is the most impressive thing I've ever played on RPG Maker, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That is easy and free. I would love for there to be a snapshot save system. And yeah, and I guess the what was the other bit? The okay, random resources from the cart, from the boxes and such. Yes. Random books, that's another thing. I believe I spent the first half of the game without Alchemilia Volume 1.
Yes, that'll happen.
And that sucked.
So that's how you learn to mix herbs, and that turns into like your main supply of like health items.
Couldn't mix herbs, couldn't heal up properly, couldn't do any of that shit until I got that book in the bookstore like a while later, But no, that's interesting. That is very interesting.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I have problems with Termina. There's things about it that bother me. I still feel it doesn't feel like a complete game. It is a fascinating piece of game design. Like, the way it all works. And, like, it's even like the way, different unique enemies occupy different areas. I'm playing through Requiem at the moment, and I really like it. I think it's really cool.
What's that?
And it has Resident Evil 9.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it has things about it, right? Like, there's your main resource in Requiem is blood. And you can turn blood into ammo, health, upgrade items, save items, ink ribbons. Okay. And I think that you have to make a call of which of those things you want to spend your blood on. I think that's so interesting. But my problem with it is that the game is too easy for those decisions to really matter. And I feel like maybe a part of the reason I feel like that is because I've spent so much time with Fear and Hunger, where those decisions are the only thing that will let you survive it,
Right. Yeah. I mean, literally, like, you can make a save that doesn't move time forward, but if you don't have the right sigil and the right fucking thing on the ground, and then you draw it in the wrong place or whatever, like, it's like you have to find the book and you have to find the thing and you have to do that, and then it cracks right away.
Even when you find the book, do you know what else you could turn that into?
A portal.
A fast travel point. And do you really want to sacrifice a fast travel point?
and
this is kind of what I love about the game. I want to tell you like a little anecdote I had, right? And
just like the first game too with that.
Yeah. Basically, I got a really unlucky death mask spawn early on the east side of Prehival, which basically it was in the staircase, there?
Okay.
And it basically meant I can't go there anymore. I couldn't. So that means I had to route my entire run through the west of Prehival. What is in the west of Prehival? The fucking mob.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm creeping through the area at the mob. I'm trying to get down south, and I'm like, okay, don't trigger, because there's all these different tiles, and they all have like a different chance to spawn the mob. But you don't really know. You're always risking the mob spawning. And I get right down to the bottom of a map, and I'm nearly at the destination, and then I hear fucking Needles laugh. Needles has spawned in a single exit and I don't know if it's the exit I'm not going to or if it's the one I'm headed towards. And I go down, and there he is waiting for me. And it traps me in this scenario. I have to either go entirely back through the entire area I've just walked through, risking triggering the mob the entire time, or I have to fight Needles before I'm ready for him. Yeah. This moment happened on stream, and like the agony of having to make that decision was so fucking awesome. And like when you look at what happened there, two separate parts of the game had spun together to create this like impossible scenario, and it fucking
ruled. Like it was so exciting and desperate, and like trying to think my way out of that scenario, crawling through my inventory and looking for any item that, you know, would help. And it was just like, that is why I love these games.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you basically are like, fuck you, pick your poison. One of these things is going to ruin you somehow, you know? It is I again, like I said, I'd love to see that whiteboard of like the planning of that. And, you know, there is that confidence that can come from eventually being like, okay, I just made a save. I'm pretty fed and my mind is good. And I know how to handle these bobbies when I run into them, right? I know how to handle this type of enemy. So for the most part, my exploration should not be too bad, you know? And then like something just goes haywire or sideways, you know?
It is, but like something goes haywire or sideways and that sucks. Having the knowledge to turn that situation back around in your favor, that feels fucking incredible.
So what was I fighting? I was fighting something that hacked off Olivia's legs. And I was like, yeah, acceptable losses.
Olivia's just like, I don't worry about it.
Yeah, literally, I just kept rolling, you know? And that was one of those bits, you know? But no, I okay, that the full breadth of that is pretty fucking sick.
And I appreciate that, like, in the limited time you had, you're just not gonna have that experience with Fear and Hunger. I get it, but there was something so cool here that I wanted to talk to you about.
Absolutely. And I will say that what I got out of this is a very, very cool fucking game that's way better than that first one. And I really did enjoy what I saw, you know, here and what I got through. I do so with the caveat of time and progress and such that I mentioned, as well as my mitigation of being like, yeah, well, here comes the wiki. You know?
Yeah.
And between those two mitigating each other, I was able to walk away from this and go like, that's a fucking cool, unique ass game. And I'm glad that it wasn't just left off at the first one, you know?
Okay, I say this in the video. It's so easy to imagine Fear and Hunger 2 as a bigger dungeon with more monsters. And this is so wildly different that, like, even there's parts of Fear and Hunger 1 I still prefer. I have so much respect for this game and how ambitious a departure it is. Like, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm immediately curious about, like, I didn't play as Olivia, but what's it like to play as a character that's in a wheelchair? What does that mean for the progress and how you do things, you know?
You have to get off your wheelchair to go upstairs, which means you literally crawl on your hands and knees up the stairs.
Okay.
And if you use your wheelchair at the top of a stairs, you go really fast and can stun enemies.
Wow. Okay, he thought about everything. That's crazy. Because, yeah, the crawling mechanic in part 1 was simply because you got your legs cut off or violated, you know? But, okay, interesting.
I will also say that, you know, this is all going to be in the video that will be coming out relatively soon from when this video goes up in about a week or so. The kill everyone run is one of the most fucking insane things I've ever done in a video game.
You got to go out of your way to hunt them down, I imagine.
But that's the thing. Like, your list of potential allies, you basically turn it up. Like, I went through the whole game, like, writing down, okay, this person's here at this time, blah, 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 blah. And then when I started the kill everyone run, I looked at it and I was like, I have wrote a kill list. But, like, the very specific way that particular playthrough went was just fucking insane. Like, it was just, I can't believe that the game accounted for things a certain way. I can't believe how awful it made me feel. It was just amazing. Look, one caveat I gotta drop here as well is that there has been a massive patch for this game inbound for like the last 2 years, and it still hasn't happened. I fully expect it to drop the hour I finish and upload my video, completely invalidating it, but you know what? That's how we roll.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew that, like, there was no progress beyond the tower with a party like that, I would have reconsidered. Well, a lot of how you approach that changes if you know, with that, like, information, for example. But what I did see was that, like, at one point I had that Book of Enlightenment, and I was like, you know what? Let me hold on to that just in case shit gets real, like it did at the end of the first game. And let me just hit this bed one more time. We did some good work today. Let's wrap this up on day 3 and use that bed one last time. You wake up alone. What happened? Where'd everybody go?
Yep.
And that was like, oh, fuck me.
That got me too.
Load the save back up. Undo everything we just
here's
did.
the thing, Woolie. I also have another policy with these games. I never go back to earlier saves.
Oh, okay. No. I'm like, nah.
And I had to find a way to beat Servile, the weird sex tank, the Kaiser, and Logic with one character.
Jesus, you had to form a beast. Okay.
Video will be out in a week.
Okay. I mean, fucking taking out the Baroness lady, walking up results in that giant tank thing not at all fighting you, so that's cool.
Excuse me?
The lady in leather starts walking up the hallway, and if you attack her and kill her, like I did, the big tank thing right above is not at all a factor. It's already down.
This fucking game.
And she goes, oh, like, you are impatient, or aren't you impatient, or whatever. And you just take her out, and then the tank is down.
That's that thing. I spent so long being like, okay, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, coin flip attack, guard, murky vial, recovery agent, guard, attack, guard. Like
the big super tank of
yes,
like yeah, okay,
insane.
Yeah,
okay.
While she's walking up, just chase.
Jesus.
Well,
okay, Woolie. Pantheon of Greatness, Fear and Hunger 2, Termina. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
Fear and Hunger 2, Termina. Right above Fear and Hunger 1.
God damn it. God damn it.
Where is it anyway? Number 32. Yeah, okay.
Look, there's no getting around the fact that you had serious problems with this game, right?
I did. I love me some Darkest Dungeon too, but we talk about the averages of our...
Is it actually just going above Fear and Hunger? Because that's sort of what this is feeling like.
Well, it's better than Riverdale.
Okay. I mean, I don't feel like we need to be so dismissive towards the actual quality of Riverdale, which we both love.
But this is another case of like Darkest Dungeon 2 is throwing me off because I really love Darkest Dungeon 2.
I understand.
But Scavenger's Reign is pretty fucking great, and Hunter x Hunter was a lot of fun. So it might literally just sit above Riverdale in the Cloud Path.
How's the liminal zone doing? All right? Doing good?
The liminal zone is chilling.
Okay.
Chilling with some Caribbean food.
Okay. Fear.
Is your magnet pulling this higher?
Oh, you know what, Woolie? If this podcast has taught me anything, it's that if Woolie ain't happy, no one's happy. So you know what?
Wow. Excuse me.
Look.
You knew what this was when you recommended it. You knew what you were doing.
I love Fear and Hunger, and I love Termina. And is there a part of me that was hoping the Termina would get you more? Absolutely. I love this game. I respect your reasons for not feeling that way, and you can't pretend that you liked it more than you did. And I appreciate just even in the conversation that you're willing to hear me out and like be open to the cool parts about it. But ultimately, you got to be honest with how you feel about it. And like from everything you've said, yeah, that position feels about right.
I loved the content, and especially in reflection of seeing the journey up to the second game from the first one. That was super cool, and I still do feel that way. There's technical things, as well as my own personal time, life, whatever balance it's things, which do not apply to everyone listening to this, much less most people. But
no, but this is your list. This is our list.
But that's what it was for me. And when I put the baby back to sleep and walked back up and sat down and spoke to Osa and finished the conversation and looked at the pause screen, I fucking just... I hollowed out.
I'm having something like that at the moment with actually Romeo is a Dead Man.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I love that game. I love so much of what it's doing.
Yep.
But the way its levels are laid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Its levels take place in like a normal level that is also a like subspace level where there's this weird like virtual layout that lies under the actual level.
Yes.
And you can't like just start at the beginning of the level and go straight through to the end. You have to go to a point, go into the subspace weird maze level.
Use the computer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then come back out, go into another subspace level. For someone like me who has like a really shitty sense of direction due to like dyspraxia and shit like that, I literally cannot make my way through this game.
Yep.
Like I got 8 hours in and on the second level, and it's killing me because I love that game, but this one specific part of it is literally destroying the experience. That's not something that's going to apply to other people. It applies to me, you know?
I got lost in the mall. I absolutely got lost in the mall.
The next level is so much worse than that.
Okay, yeah. Just trying to trace my way back to the beginning to fight the boss. I was like, which one of these like teleports again? And then my other issue was, if anything, I'm like, the action in it is fine. It's pretty standard. Ultimately, I wish the combat was more in depth.
I wish they had maybe like one more mechanic.
Yeah, because I do feel like, I mean, we're on a tangent here, but I feel like the most standard thing you can offer is a quick slash, heavy slash, gun button roll, you know, for a basic action game setup. And it does all those things. I kind of just wish there was a little bit more, like, you know, that you could do with it. So, but anyways,
maybe we'll talk about it again in the future.
Maybe another time.
Yeah.
But this will have to do for now.
Woolie, recommend or die. Okay. Woolie, you've been through a lot with Fear and Hunger. I appreciate you giving it a shot.
I appreciate you appreciating that.
And that's why I think that I need a surefire hit here. I need something that you're going to enjoy, something that's going to bring you back. And so I would like to propose a first on Versus Wolves. I am about to pitch you something that I know you've experienced, Woolie. And if you want to take the coward's path, you can combo breaker me here.
But, the ego combo breaker.
But if you do choose to combo breaker this, I will be forced to pitch you something else entirely, which I promise you will not enjoy.
So you're showing the domino behind this one. You're showing the card behind the card and saying you can take this card. I suggest you do.
And a part of it is we have never really had an in-depth conversation about this thing, Woolie. And I really want to experience that with you. Woolie, your recommendation for the next episode of Versus Wolves is The Simpsons, Season 7.
Wow. Whoa. What the fuck? Okay. Yo, Season 7 specifically. Interesting.
Right in the golden era.
Interesting. Okay. Gonna have to brush up on my references. I've got a couple, but I'm no Matt, certainly. I wonder what was behind that.
Can think of a way to find out.
I accept.
Don't do it. Okay.
I accept.
That's good. I'm so psyched to have a Simpsons episode.
Okay, because what's underneath that? You pull up the eye patch, eyes glow. Pen and stare. Okay. My turn?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So I guess I do think it's pretty cool how you have recently, we've been chatting on and off screen, on and off mic. And, believe it or not, folks, actually, there's an actual friendship here,
It's survived somehow.
Yeah, kites will do that, But I do feel that, it is cool when you show me, even in your off time, that you are hanging out and you're building Gunpla with the Gunpla boys, and that you have a little group that you've built that's still hanging out together. And I'm seeing photos of you and stuff where you're like, yo, we're still doing this, right? We're still building, we're having good times. That shit's awesome.
Okay.
And, you're welcome, by the way.
I'm about to finish a pretty sick Zaku that I want to send you.
Let's go. Recently, our own bonds have been strengthened pretty strongly as well, because we got to play Lancer with Tom, and we had a great time with that.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. There is something in your tone that is making me nervous.
Well, it's just, all of this is to say that, I think that, when we started this, I think you already were a mecha fan. It's just that I nurtured the seed, and I watered it, and I gave it sunlight, and thus it grew. And it seems like it's something that you've come to really enjoy. Is that wrong?
I mean, I do enjoy building me some Gunpla. I do really like piloting my fictional mech in Lancer, yes.
Okay. Put a pin in that. This month, you've just established, as we've talked about, that, with a game like Fear and Hunger, you are a big fan of permanent consequences of failure, having a weight to it. You're a big fan of things that can be lost in an instant, a day's worth of progress, hypothetically, right? And I applaud that about you. I do. I think it's cool because, that type of, what would you call it? Gumption, right? There's a bold, daring, some would say, ostentatiousness about that, And a bold and daring, ostentatious kind of
Is
person.
this what it's like? Is this what it feels like when I'm doing a fucking recommend?
Hey, I'm trying to get to the point here. You just got to let me get to it, right?
Okay.
The thing is that, like, I think that boldness requires a bold, daring, ostentatious game. You're a fan of Capcom, right?
I love Capcom.
We
Yeah.
both love Capcom. So, with all this put together, where are we? Where do we leave off? Does that all come together in a way that rings any bells for you? Don't worry about it. I'll beat you to the punch. John, your recommendation for next month is Steel fucking Battalion.
How?
44
How?
buttons, 3 pedals, no tutorial,
Wait,
permadeath.
what?
Enjoy.
But wait, how am I meant to play it?
I mean, I hear you saying that word, but that sounds like a you problem.
Oh my fucking god! What?
See you next month.
Okay.